beat. You go in and you think we got beat, but there was a stretch we did it right. Tonight, you got no pressure on you if you're New Brighton. Nobody really expects it to be all that competitive. That's biscuits and gravy for opportunity. If you seize it, there's no pressure on you. If you're a young player, this is one of those games, especially because it's the conference opener, and it's an old hackneyed phrase. Well, everybody starts 0-0. Right. When it comes from conference play tonight, that's absolutely true. The phrase is step up. I like the phrase opportunity. You seize the opportunity with aggression, and you go maybe instead of a quarter and a half of good football, you do 2.5 quarters of good football. You build. A young team doesn't have to win right away. A young team, it's vital for them to feel like we're improving every single week.
Well, last year in the final season, under Joe Greco, New Brighton did get to the playoffs. They beat a previously undefeated Washington club before coming here for a quarterfinal matchup against Beaver Falls, losing 40-0. So it wasn't all that long ago that New Brighton did play a game up here on College Hill. Beaver Falls also beat the Lions last year in New Brighton by a final score of
I'm glad to see you.
39-18.
I am so glad to see you stop for a second and look stuff up, because you keep coming out with names and stats, and it's like, this is off the top of his head. Okay? And I just got about 8 inches shorter.
Well, that's how you come across on telephone.
8 inches shorter?
Yeah. No.
Okay. I think I just broke my chair. We have the first injury of the new season.
Well,
I'll just broadcast from down here. I'm good.
Be safe.
The sky is beautiful.
The game on WNBA tonight, and it's a conference opener. Undefeated Aliquippa at Montour. Mike Azadian and Bruce Frye had the call of that one, and that game should be underway. All the games are early tonight except 2. The one that we're going to witness tonight up here on College Hill, Reeves Field, and Elwood City at Freedom. Elwood snapping their 27-game losing streak last week. Now they're going to try to knock off Freedom in the conference opener, also in the MAC.
They are going to be frothing at the mouth. You lose. Literally, you were a freshman, maybe, the last time you won, and you went, oh, you're going to be so geeked up for that game tonight. That's going to be a good one just for the enthusiasm.
It will be. Yeah. We're going to take our first time out for Beaver County Career and Technology Center, our proud pregame sponsor all season long. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the other games that are already underway here on WBVP, the new 99.3 FM, Facebook Live, and by Trib Sports Live.
If you're an employer, what do you look for in a prospective new hire? A proven track record is usually the #1 trait. For 45 years now, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center has been creating the workforce that has shaped Western Pennsylvania industry and service sector enterprises. It's the program with proven experience that employers know they can count on when they need to fill their workforce. Enroll your child or grandchild at the known quantity among educators and business leaders alike. Signing up through your local public school is easy and can give your student the ability, in many cases, to make more in certain fields than college graduates, all without any student loans. Free career training at Beaver County Career and Technology Center is the perfect choice. Visit BCCTC.org, celebrating 45 years as the best place to start a career. The Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
There's no place like Community College of Beaver County.
Confidence happens here.
Connection happens here. Opportunity happens here. Your best you happens here. Your future happens here. Home is here. At CCBC, you're right where you need to be to find real learning for real life. And there's still time to join us. Enroll now through October 14th for fall mini-mesters. Same classes, less time. Visit ccbc.edu/fall. You belong here.
Thanks for tuning in to High School
football here on Beaver County Radio, now entering our 75th year in broadcasting high school games. 2022 high school football coverage is being brought to you in part by Friendly Federal Credit Union, the Laughlin Insurance Agency, Moon Township Auto, Electric Garage Door Sales, Frye Transportation, Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, the Community College of Beaver County, Keystone Wellness Program, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Beaver County Career and Technical Institute, Tri-State Neuropathy, Drug-Free Communities, and Beaver County Radio.
And our Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show continues. Matt Durzik, our producer tonight, he'll be co-hosting the Falcone's Moon Township Ford wrap-up show with Bruce Frye later tonight. And it'll be a shortened edition because we have a late game here up on College Hill kicking off at 7:30. But Matt already has a couple scores for us from the Frye Transportation Instant Update Desk. Blackhawk has taken an early 7-0 lead out in Chippewa against the Ambridge Bridgers. And Our Lady of the Sacred Heart leading Carleton 7-0. Those games underway. Other games that we'll be looking at. The game on WNBA. Aliquippa at Montour. Quip's undefeated, defending 4A state champs. At Montour, a team that's had strong programs through the years. Don't know if they're quite at that level tonight, and they're going to have to play very well, Eddie Crow, to beat the Quips.
This is how you find out where you are. Especially, you can have a reference point. We were good a year ago. We were 3 years ago. We were good. The fastest way to find out how good you are is to face the team that they face tonight, because you're going to find out within a quarter the good things that you have and the things that you need to work on, because Aliquippa, like always, it's almost demoralizing to say, yeah, they're the state champs. You expect what you get from Aliquippa whether they have that title or not, and you're going to know within a quarter how good are we and where do we need work, because the test will come instantly.
All right, and as we said, Blackhawk leading Ambridge in the opener in the 4A Parkway, 7-0. Chartiers Valley at Central Valley. Eddie, I was told that Central Valley has been on kind of a good streak lately. They have won 30 games in a row, and they'll try to stretch it tonight against a Char Valley club that seems like it's suffering under some growing pains this evening.
Yeah, 30 games in a row. Again, how many seasons is that? You've got freshmen that are probably playing as juniors in 12. I'm not going to do the math in my head, but losing is not something that program is used to. Certainly not the upperclassmen in that program.
The two-time defending state champions moving up to 4A from 3A.
It sounds like they moved up just fine.
Yeah. Newcastle at West Allegheny tonight. The Indians undefeated. They'll be on WNBA next week against Aliquippa at Freedom. Other games of interest. Beaver at South Park in 3A. Avonworth visits Hopewell. Seat LaSalle at Quaker Valley. In 2A tonight, Riverside at Mohawk. And the later one is Elwood City at Freedom. They'll kick off at 7:30 at Jimbo Covert Field. And in 1A, we already have the early score. Olsh leading Carleton 7-0. Other 1A games tonight. Northgate at Southside. The Rams come in unbeaten. Cornell at Avella. And the only non-conference game in our coverage area, Penn Hills, is at Moon. We'll let you know what the Pirates are doing at Citi Field against the Mets. And tomorrow, Geneva looks for its first win of the season. Bruce Frye and myself will be at Waynesburg for a 12:30 pregame right here on 12:30 at 99.3. And Pitt and Western Michigan, 5:30 airtime, 7:30 kickoff. We're going to take this brief 90-second timeout. We'll be back on Beaver County Radio.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Why choose the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George? Attorney Larry Kelly explains.
First of all, we've been AV rated by Martindale-Hubbell. It's the highest rating you can get for legal ability and ethics, and that comes from our peers. We have board-certified civil trial specialist, which is like another bar exam. Would you go to a doctor who is not board-certified? Probably not. I've always said, and I tell my daughters, I have 3 daughters who are attorneys. Those in the profession know. The lawyers of LGKG have the respect of our peers, and that's all I ever cared about.
For your free initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Frye Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Frye Transportation fleet. Frye Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Frye Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Frye Transportation. And we return to College Hill and Reeves Stadium on the campus of Geneva College. But it's high school football tonight as our Beaver County Career Technology Center pregame show continues here on 1230 WBVP, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live, along with Trib Live High School Sports. Matt Durzik already cranking out the scores. Central Valley has taken a 7-0 lead over Short Tears Valley. West Allegheny undefeated. They've taken a 3-0 advantage over Newcastle.
Yay, Kickers.
Penn Hill 7-0 lead over Moon, and Olsh has upped its lead to 14-0, and Blackhawk was leading 7-0 early over Ambridge. Those scores from the Frye Transportation Update Desk. Couple games tomorrow. Rochester at Summit Academy at 12:30, and in a battle of unbeatens, Neshannock at Western Beaver. We'll keep you updated on those games during our Geneva coverage against Waynesburg. Eddie, New Brighton and Beaver Falls. Tony Kelturi knew what he was getting into after Joe Greco stepped aside after 24 years, remains the school's athletic director, and Tony's been around the block. He's been a fine assistant at a number of schools, but he knew that this is not going to be an overnight success, as the scores have indicated. When you look at their stats, they're averaging 6.7 points per game. They're giving up 54.7. And again last week, I mean, they had people interested at Oak Hill, down 20-13, but then Rochester's offense kind of wore them down, and they scored the last 40 of the game.
What will happen when you're talking about a younger team or a less experienced team? You might have a flash here or there. The difference between a good young player and a good upperclassman player is the consistency. When you're a freshman, you might make a good play every third or fourth play. You might mess up bad the other 2 or 3. If you're a senior, you're not going to make every great play, but you're not going to blow the coverage. You're not going to mess things up. Those numbers, yeah, they're not good. You're averaging less than a touchdown, and you're giving up more than a half century. We're 3 games into it. It's a young team. And like you said, when he took that job, he knew that. And I guarantee you he's smart enough to make sure that everyone else around him knew that too. You can be as optimistic as you want, but there has to be some realism, as that's a new coach, to make people understand. We're coming in, yes, we're going to work hard and we're going to have success. It's not going to be what you saw last year. On paper, you can't expect that. You've got to give a new coach time to build it the way he wants to. He was willing to come in and take on, let's call it a project, all right? He's willing to come in and take on a project, be willing as fans to give him time to do his work on the project. I think everybody's on the same page in spite of those numbers. Those numbers are brutally bad. That will improve every single game, though.
Eddie Crow joining me by Berrickman tonight. And when you look at Beaver Falls, they're ranked number 2 in 2A. Last year losing to Sarah Catholic in the WPIL championship game. 2 years ago, winning the WPIL title. Nick Nardone, in his 6th year, he was the defensive coordinator for Beaver Falls' state championship team under Ryan Matzook in 2016. And Nick, after a slow first year, has really took off with this program. And they're ranked number 2, but they've had some injuries, Eddie. When you look at the scores, now last week they beat a Knock team 44-6, and I don't think the Knock Knights are going to challenge. The last time Knock beat Beaver Falls, I believe that was Larry Bruno's, the legend, final game as a head coach back in 1978. Last week, not quite as much on the line, and Beaver Falls rolled.
And well, if I'd have asked you before that game to give me a ballpark ending of that game, I think that's about what you would have said. And for the people that are listening to this, that's great. If you're not watching this, Berrickman's doing this all off the top of his head.
I didn't know I had a head, but go ahead.
Well, otherwise the headphones would have hit the ground. You try and build, and from one year to the next, especially with high school kids, because you're talking about figuring it out. The speed of the game is different. When you're playing Pee Wee football, it's X speed. When you go to high school, it's double. When you go to college, it's quadruple. When you go, all right, you have to adjust to that. And in high school, you've got the added variable. Guys don't hit their growth spurt. One of my best friends in high school, when we left at the end of freshman year, he was 6'1". When we came back at the beginning of that fall, he was 6'7".
Oh, my goodness.
He became far more interesting to the basketball coach when he returned from summer vacation. That goes on now. And you can get quicker and faster and stronger sooner because kids are aware of that. You used to hit that growth spurt, and you'd figure out how to work out. Back in the day, you'd get a good strength and conditioning coach in college your freshman, sophomore year. That's when you would see guys get strong and bulk up. That's not how it is anymore. Guys have this figured out, and strength and conditioning programs have this figured out. As soon as a guy basically grows into his body, he grows into a monster body sooner. All of those variables play into it.
Interesting stuff that you bring up, Eddie Crow. And again, all the other games are in progress except Elwood City at Freedom in another MAC game, and we're going to witness one tonight. New Brighton and Beaver Falls, the battle for the Little Brown Jug. Eddie, another trip down memory lane. Probably, I'd have to believe, the best game in the history of this rivalry occurred on a Monday night at this very stadium. It was 6 days after the tragedy of 9/11. And, of course, all the games got postponed and moved to different days. They played up here. It went down to the final couple minutes. Beaver Falls pulls it out. Beaver Falls that year in 2001 got to the WPIL championship game. New Brighton got to the semifinals that year. That was probably the one year where both of those teams were at their best, maybe not at their best, but certainly when you look at the parlay in 2001, there was no better year than that one. And that, believe it or not, happened during the tragedy of 9/11.
You know what? I remember, like we all do, 9/11. I would put a little bit of that down to people were just so appreciative to get to go out and do something normal after that week. There was an amazing amount of energy and enthusiasm that you probably, emotionally, you would never had to draw on that before. Well, let me ask you this. What is a good performance for New Brighton? For New Brighton to stay in this game, I think would count as a good performance. anything more than that would count as a double bonus. But I go back to what I said before. You're talking about an opportunity to be noticed. If you're on the New Brighton team, that's a young club. You're playing against a team that on paper is probably a little bit better than you, certainly more seasoned than you, and certainly in the trenches bigger than you. You've got nothing to lose if you approach it like that. First conference game, you've got nothing to lose. You could build your high school football legacy as a freshman or a sophomore tonight if it all works out.
All right, let's go over.
I'm being very optimistic.
I know. You always are.
I'm bubbly.
Let's go over some scores. Matt Dursey continues to bring him in from the Frye Transportation Update Desk. Aliquippa breaks on top at Burco Stadium in Robinson Township. Quip 6, Montour nothing. Still 7-0 after a period now. Blackhawk leading Ambridge. Central Valley on top of Chartiers Valley, 14-0. 10-6.
Really?
West Allegheny leading Newcastle. Nothing in yet from Beaver at South Park. Avonworth has broken on top 7-0 at Tony Dorsett Stadium against Hopewell. Other games, St. LaSalle at Quaker Valley. Riverside visiting Mohawk. Northgate at Southside. Olsh is now taking a commanding 21-0 lead over Carleton. Penn Hills was on top 7-0 at Moon in the only non-conference game among area teams. And the other 7:30 start tonight, Elwood City at Freedom. And, of course, we'll talk about those games on the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show with Matt Durzick and Bruce Frye. And then Dawn Rebel and a staff from Trib Live will go over all the scores and conversation throughout the WPIL. It's like this every Friday night, Mr. Crow.
Frantic.
Yes, a good word.
Frantic. Well, you know what? There's good frantic and bad frantic. This would absolutely count as good frantic. We've got New Brighton coming onto the field now. The band is playing. Yeah, this is a good frantic.
All right, we're going to take our final timeout. New Brighton has taken the field, and Beaver Falls will come out momentarily. The battle for the Little Brown Jug and the opener in the Midwestern Athletic Conference will return to Reeves Stadium. After this, on WBVP 99.3, Trib Live and Facebook Live.
Parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. This is Stefan Sasek from Tri-State Waters. I'm the guy that is out and about delivering that Tyler Mountain 100% natural spring water. I'm everywhere from New Brighton to Old Economy. Tri-State Waters delivers, and I'm the one driving the truck. From Beaver to Raccoon Township, I'm the waterman they love and the waterman that delivers. We even go to Poland, well, Ohio that is. If you need home or office delivery, call today and ask for Stefan, 724-774-4644.
And as we wind down our Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame, I don't know if they're new uniforms, but to me they look new. This is the first Beaver Falls home game that we have broadcasted this season.
I think last year a Beaver Falls game was in the rain and mud. I think these are at least cleaner than the last time we saw.
They are. They're in their spiffy orange tops with the white helmets and trousers and the black trim. And Beaver Falls comes out of the south end zone, and they'll take the near side of the field. New Brighton in their white uniforms with the gold helmets and the crimson trim, and we are just moments away from kickoff here on WBVP and 99.3 FM along with Trib Live, and we're on our Facebook page tonight. Let's introduce the officials. The referee tonight is Sean Miller, the umpire John Spencer. Brian Barney is the linesman. The line judge tonight is Ryan Beagle, and the side judge is Javon Alexander. And Eddie, for some final thoughts before this goes to kickoff.
My final thought is I can win the night without winning the game if I'm New Brighton. If I can somehow manage to win the game, that's spectacular, and you can go absolutely crazy. But New Brighton can make forward movement and feel better about who they are as a team, even without necessarily winning this game. If there's any pressure, it's only, the fourth game of the season, but it is the first game of the conference. If there's any pressure, it's on the expected. Beaver Falls is expected to win this game. So I'm going to look for positives. The longer positives and the more positives show up for New Brighton, the more they will be in it. But I'm looking for a way to be positive without necessarily having a positive outcome if I'm New Brighton. If I'm Beaver Falls, the expectation is you're going to win this game and it's going to be comfortable.
All right. Well, our cameraman has just turned the lights on for us. Thank you, Keith Walsh, and the co-captains coming out onto the field. And we're going to have the kickoff momentarily here on Beaver County Radio. Eddie Crowby, Barrickman, Keith and Curtis Walsh, Matt Durzig, our producer. And they're already underway at Montour tonight. Mike Azadi and Bruce Frye, and the Quips had a 6-0 lead. And this one about to begin.
I can't help but look out, and forgive me for squinting. When I see that, the first thing I think is, okay, it's the University of Miami against Boston College. And it's not. I understand that. But when I look, it's like, oh, those are because
you're right.
That's. I look at BC. I'm looking for Michael Irvin and Doug Flutie out there tonight. So I don't know how good I'm going to be helpful with you. It's like, where's Flutie? Oh, okay.
New Brighton will receive the opening kickoff here at Reeves Stadium. And we're just about to kick off ourselves.
Referees having their last meeting before they spread out to their positions. Do not let me this year get all obsessive about the special teams like I have a tendency to do, because I will drone on for months about how many steps it takes to kick a football. Don't let me do that. Poor Keith, our camera guy. I'm watching warm-ups, and that's wrong, that's right. And he's looking at me like, the kid's 16 years old. It's like kicking. There's a way to do it. Don't let me obsess this year, Bob. I put that on you.
All right. Thank you. New Brighton will return the opening kickoff, and they'll go from the south toward the scoreboard, toward the north end zone for those familiar with the surroundings here at Reeves. And getting ready to put the ball on the tee at the 40-yard line is Jaron Brickner. He does about everything in his 4 years at this program. Bouncing ball, and it's picked up at the 16, and coming out to about the 33-yard line, Kyler Rumbold, who has been the spark for New Brighton this season. So the short kickoff, and Rumbold returns it out past the 30. They'll start from the 33.
I talked about little small victories over the course of the game. If you're starting, your first possession is outside your 30, That's a small victory. You've got room, you've got options when you look at the playbook. Now it's an issue of how comfortable are you putting young players in serious situations with the play calling, especially first play of the first conference game.
Brian Taylor Jr. in the shotgun. He is the quarterback. He is a junior for the New Brighton Lions. And he's back to throw. He pumps, moves left, has to take off with the football, and he's tackled. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. And a nice play by Isaiah Ashbacher, who was back in the lineup for Beaver Falls. It'll be second down, no gain. They need 10.
He maybe picked up a half a yard, and that was all his own doing. As soon as he rolled out to the left, he had about a half a second to look, and then the protection broke down, and he ran for what he got.
Kevin Williams, who had a fumble recovery for 40 yards last week for a touchdown in that loss to Rochester, is to the right of Taylor. And the ball is loose, and there's a scrum for the loose ball, and Beaver Falls has it. Unable to grab onto the ball was Gary Pugh, and Beaver Falls has recovered a fumble, an early mistake by the very young New Brighton Lions. Tigers take over at the New Brighton 30-yard line.
I don't know who to question with the footwork. Not going to get deep in footwork, but it's very difficult to hand the ball off to a guy that's 4 or 5 feet away from you. Somebody didn't run the exact right route to take the hand off. The ball fell straight out. It went from feeling good about yourself to, oh, heck.
So the Beaver Falls offense behind center goes Jaron Brickner. They're working out of the I formation. Just over a minute gone by, and a quick turnover by New Brighton. This time, the delayed handoff, and not much there. Maybe 3. Well, still on his feet and getting close to 4 for Beaver Falls was Dre Hall, and Hall picks up 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 at the New Brighton 26.
3 of those came from a rugby scrum. They couldn't bring him down, but he ran 9 yards before he got back to the line of scrimmage. He cut back and forth and was patient enough to wait for a little bit of help, and the help came with the push forward. 3 yards out of nothing, really.
Trey Singleton split to the right. He did not play in that first broadcast of the year at Blackhawk. Ashbacher not playing on offense. On defense, he is in a huge run inside the 5, near the end zone. They're going to call him down inside the 1-yard line. What a run on second down from the 30, from the 27-yard line, and he gets down to the 1-yard line.
He carried the first half of that run. He hit the gap and he had space. The second half of that run, he carried at least 5 New Brighton defenders. Literally, I think he tripped short of the goal line. That as good a non-scoring run you're going to see, period.
And the handoff and an easy touchdown. Going in for the score is Bricks Rawl, and it's 6-0. 2:40 off the clock, and the Fighting Tigers have grabbed a 6-0 lead.
Great run. 2 great runs. One of them, a whole lot of movement to create space and get 3 yards. The run to get to the goal line, you will watch the highlights, and that will be a highlight all year. It's one of those where you're like, you almost root for him to score because he's literally carrying half of the defense on his back, and you kept waiting for him to fall, and he didn't fall.
Beaver Falls will go for the 2. They don't kick much right now in Tiger Town. And scooting into the end zone for the 2 for the Fighting Tigers, and that is Dre Hall. They have taken an early 8-0 lead. We'll take a minute timeout. The Little Brown Jug battle just underway, and Beaver Falls is broken on top 8-0. Early here from Reeves on WBVP and 99.3.
After any big game, people will be talking. This is Ellen Bross from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. The same is true when you get your new vehicle from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Neighbors, friends, and co-workers will notice the new winning style reflected in the car, truck, or SUV you just got from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Located on University Boulevard, across from Robert Morris. Click and save at moonford.com and discover what the talk is all about. Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
There's no place like Community College of Beaver County. Confidence happens here. Connection happens here. Opportunity happens here. Your best you happens here. Your future happens here. Home is here. At CCBC, you're right where you need to be to find real learning for real life. And there's still time to join us. Enroll now through October 14th for fall mini-mesters. Same classes, less time. Visit ccbc.edu/fall. You belong here.
And we return. The kickoff goes out of bounds, so New Brighton has the option of a re-kicker. They can take over at the 35. Looks like they'll resume at the 35-yard line. And that touchdown, Bricks Raw went 25 yards to the 1, set up his 1-yard run, and then Dre Hall took it in for the 2, and it's 8-0 Fighting Tigers.
I couldn't come up with the term. That was a beast mode run. When you see a guy get wrapped up and a second guy wrap up and a third and the run continues, that was full beast mode. And, of course, after that run, he's going to be the guy to get it.
So New Brighton will try it again. They coughed it up on their third play of the game. Now Taylor forced out of the pocket, and he's going to be brought down. To his credit, he did not give up on the play. What should have been a yard loss turns into a couple-yard gain for the junior quarterback.
I suspect the junior quarterback is going to have to make a lot of offense himself, because that was set up to be a pass. He got about 2 steps before the protection broke down. They're going to have to move him around in the pocket. Drop-back passing is not going to work against this Beaver Falls defensive line. They're winning right now, big time up front.
Gary Pugh, who was the quarterback the last half of last season, now a wideout. This time Taylor on the run, and there is a marker on the field, I believe. Yes, there is. It was a short pickup for Taylor. Gets to the 39. It would be 3rd and 6 if Nick Nardone decides to accept the play and decline the penalty.
I was wondering about why you would hold somebody on the opposite side of the run. I think they're signaling chop block.
Well, if it's a major one, I would expect Nick Nardone to take it. Actually, I think it's just an offside call.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, because we're the... no.
Now they're moving it back, and you're right,
up.
Eddie. It is a major one.
Where the flag was thrown, it was thrown to the left side, left edge of the offensive line. That was a sweep right. There would be no reason to hold if you're on the left end of the offensive line, so that's why the flag didn't make sense for holding. It wasn't.
Well, it's a huge penalty, and it's going to bring up 2nd down and 24. The ball was off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Pugh.
He had him. I think it got tipped before it got tipped by the receiver. That's going to have to be the offense, at least until you can back the defensive line off with quick slants and movement from the quarterback. They're going to line up, and they're not going to give you time to set up. It has to be quick to get them to be less aggressive. They don't have to be less aggressive right now.
And for a New Brighton offense, which has struggled, 3rd and 24. They'll go to the run, and getting some of that is Kevin Williams. Gets it to the 29-yard line, a pickup of 8, but far shy of the 1st down, and the Lions will have to boot it.
And comes up limping.
So a major penalty backs the Lions deep. They get 8 yards on the run by Kevin Williams, but New Brighton's going to have to punt it away. 7:50 left in the first quarter, 8-0 Beaver Falls. One man back deep for Beaver Falls. And the kick is high, and it's going to be a fair catch. No, it actually will roll down to about the 35-yard line as the Tiger, who was back, slipped on the carpet here at Reeves Stadium, and Beaver Falls will take over at about their 36-yard line.
Deshaun Anderson did the exact right thing. He was going to take the fair catch, but the ball was punted nose up and it didn't turn over. Those balls fall shorter than what you expect. He started to go after it, saw he wasn't going to get it, and got away from it. And getting away from it cost his team probably 3 or 4 more yards, but that's what you're taught. If you aren't sure you can get to it to catch it, don't get anywhere near it and live to run another play.
Tiger football moving toward the south end zone from the 36 of Beaver Falls. In the gun goes Brickner. Singleton in motion. Brickner will keep it. Brickner gets loose, and he's close to a first down at the 46-yard line.
A lot of space up front. Very, very simple, and there's so many options. He's got the option as the wide receiver's coming across. He can take the handoff, take it to the left side, pulled it back in and saw space up front. It wasn't touched until about yard 6 or 7.
So it is first down. They do get the first down. At the 46, and the give off to the right side. They'll pick up about, maybe 5. Dre Hall with the call, and they'll spot him. There is a marker, though, on the field, as Eddie Crow points out. We'll see if this play stands. It could be coming back.
I'm 1 for 1 on.
No, it's going to be a face mask call against New Brighton.
Yeah, at the very end, he was wrapped up. He had 2 or 3 tacklers on him, but you did see the helmet get snatched down, and right after that, you saw the referee's elbow loosen up. And you can't, I know you're a young team if you're New Brighton, but you're up against it anyway. You can't help them. You can't help Beaver Falls by fumbling on your 30. You can't help them by giving them another 15 yards at the end of an 8-yard play. I talked about, opportunities. You're handing opportunities to a team that doesn't need them.
First down and 10 Beaver Falls at the NB 33.
Good
this
play.
Time the handoff. New Brighton guessed right, and nothing there for the running back, and that was Ashbacher with the call, and he actually loses a couple of yards back to the 36.
Xander Reynolds did a really good job. He came across from his right corner, saw that it was a running play, and that didn't commit to the outside because he had cornerback help on the outside. If you can get to the running back before he gets 1 or 2 steps going, it shuts it down, and he was in the backfield. Credit New Brighton with a really good play.
Still 6-0 Aliquippa, leading Montour on WNBA in the second quarter from the Frye update desk. This time on the jet sweep, it goes to Singleton, shakes off a defender, gets down to the 31. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7 for the Fighting Tigers. Other updates, Central Valley doesn't look like they'll have any difficulty extending their streak to 31. They're on top 28-0 over Chartiers Valley. Avonworth dominating Hopewell by the same score, 28-0, and a new score on the board. Mohawk has taken a 15-0 lead over Riverside. Matt Dursick, great job, Matt Manning, the Frye Transportation Update Desk. Right here, it's 8-0 Beaver Falls. 5 minutes to go in the first period. There's movement on the left side. Who blinked first?
There's laundry everywhere. The classic, he didn't know he did it, but Beaver Falls did it. It's going to back them up.
So that'll put the ball behind the stick. That'll make it 3rd down and about 13 for Beaver Falls with 4:50 left in this opening quarter.
And New Brighton says, thank you very much. We'll take all the help we can get. Anytime one defensive lineman jumps, it's a question. When 5 of them jump, usually that means a flinch. Brickner takes the snap.
Brickner takes it, and he gets inside the 30. But that's going to bring up 4th down.
That looked like a broken play, or somebody wasn't set. That snapped to Jaron Brickner, and he looked around, then he took off.
Well, New Brighton has a chance to make a defensive stand.
Mm-hmm.
The ball was at the Lion 29, and it's going to be 4th down and about 5 for Beaver Falls.
Too far to kick, so line up.
Yeah, Beaver Falls, I haven't seen them every game, of course, but I don't know if they've kicked at all. Now rolling left is Brickner. Brickner's pass, and it's incomplete. So New Brighton does hold, and the Lions will take over on downs at their own 30-yard line.
That was a miscommunication. The closest receiver was actually the defensive back for New Brighton. Brickner threw to a spot. His wide receiver went to a different spot. And then they both had that, was it you, was it me look. Yeah, somebody did something wrong, read the wrong route or read the wrong hot read. And New Brighton says, thank you, we'll take it. Let's see what we can do on offense.
New Brighton will start from the 29, down 8-0, 3:52 left in the opening quarter in the LBJ Little Brown Jug battle. Now in the gun goes Taylor, the junior quarterback, and his sidecar to the right is Kevin Williams. Man in motion is Rumbold. Taylor has to keep it, and he has to eat it. And coming up to make the stop defensively is Dre Hall, and everything the Lions seem to be doing on offense, the Tigers are guessing right defensively.
New Brighton is struggling controlling the offensive line. That play, again, if you get to the running back, in this case the quarterback, if you get before they can get any steps going, you've already won. And the direction had to go sideways because of penetration from Beaver Falls.
It's a loss of 1, 2nd and 11. 3:15 to go in the opening period. Taylor mishandled the snap, but he is able to get it to his running back in Rumbold, but there's no room for Rumbold at all. Making the stop is Jaron Brickner, who plays very well defensively. That's going to go no gain, maybe a loss of 1. We'll call it 3rd down and 12.
Quarterback couldn't run it. He had it covered. The pitch to the far left, there were 2 defensive players for Beaver Falls waiting. The last 2 plays have actually, for New Brighton, they've done well to get to the point they had. It took some personal effort.
Taylor in the shotgun, looks, and brought down. Another sack, and getting in there this time for Beaver Falls. And it was
Damian Lee was one of them.
Damian Lee, Samori McCoy,
yes,
was the lead tackler there for the sack, and New Brighton quickly goes 3 and out, and the punting unit is on with 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
As long as the offensive line struggles like they are, Beaver Falls is controlling everything. The New Brighton offense has no time.
And the kick is high, but it's wobbly and it's short. It's going to bounce inside the 45, actually take a Beaver Falls roll, and they will start 1st down inside the 40, the 39-yard line. Beaver Falls will go on offense with an 8-0 lead. A turnover was turned into points. A 1-yard run by Bricks Raw to get Beaver Falls on the board, and the 2-point run by Dre Hall makes it 8-0.
This series is absolutely vital for New Brighton. Absolutely vital. You've managed to get a stop, but now the bounce on the punt, it was a 20-yard bounce in Beaver Falls' favor. If you can stop them, you can actually feel really good about what's going on. No, the offense so far hasn't had time to do anything. New Brighton's offense has to do it quick because of Beaver Falls' defensive line. But I said at the beginning of the game, it's about improvement. It's about making them. It's about getting better. One drive at a time, one play at a time, one defensive stop at a time. In this case, would would absolutely work wonders to hold them 8-0 after a quarter. That's a win.
There's a marker on the field. Could be a offside penalty. Brickner tiptoes down the far sideline, gets close to the first down. Let's see if that will be against New Brighton for penetrating early.
I think the left defensive end for New Brighton jumped a little bit, and I think Brickner recognized that and just took off because at that point it's a free play.
No, they're going to say illegal shift against Beaver Falls.
So the New Brighton player saw it and reacted to it, and that was fine. All right, I'm 1 for 2 on referee stuff this year so far.
And I blew my judgment call. I thought it was a jump, but it turns out that
it was the third thing. It's either offsides or illegal motion, or in this case, illegal shift formation. And that backs it up. It's going to be Beaver Falls from the New Brighton 43. So 1st and 15, and we'll start it again.
Lots of scores coming in. We'll keep you tuned in on that one. Dre Hall, after the 5-yard mark off, he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and one more, a gain of 6 and a dead ball foul. Somebody said something that did not agree with the officiating crew led by Sean Miller.
One of the magic words, and it was way late. It wasn't even players standing around talking. Both sets of players had started walking back towards their huddle, and maybe it was muttered.
Aliquippa now leads Montour 14-0 on WNBA. Central Valley 35-0 over Chartiers Valley. As Matt Durzick continues to get the scores, brought to you as always by Frye Transportation. We got unsportsmanlike conduct, and that goes against Beaver Falls. So New Brighton needs every break it can muster. That'll put the ball back at the Tiger 47.
Hey, all rising tides, it floats all boats. If you're going to gain 15 yards for your defense because somebody else said something goofy, you'll take it and say thank you very much. One of the magic words would be my guess.
Blackhawk leading Ambridge at the half, 17-0. Now this time getting loose and getting a good chunk of yardage.
I think he
and
got
that
back.
Is Brickner, or actually the running back is Dre Hall, I believe, who got the call. Coming up limping.
A little bit of a limp, the completed pass from Brickner and
Deshaun Anderson.
Within a half a yard of the original line of scrimmage at about the 37. So they just got quite a bit of it back. They're still looking at 3rd down and probably 7 or 8.
3rd down.
That's demoralizing. When you have a team behind the sticks like that in one play, they're right back in sequence. Brickner again.
So they're in 4-down territory. Brickner, the southpaw, and it's off the hand of a Tiger. Could have been picked off by New Brighton. Having a chance to get the pick was Brian Taylor. He couldn't bring it in, and it's going to be 4th down and 8. And even though Beaver Falls has the 8-0 lead, their offense has sputtered some, and you have to give the New Brighton defense a little credit.
If I'm the New Brighton defensive coordinator, when they come off the field, assuming they get off the field, because I'm sure Beaver Falls is going to go for it with the field position at the 36, New Brighton gets off the field. That's the highlight series for this game for them. And you'll take the penalty here or there, but if you get off the field against a good offense, you're happy.
Beaver Falls sends 3 wide, and the sideline pass, it's caught down to the 29.
Short.
Looks like that's going to be enough for the 1st down. My guess is they got it, and let's see if the officials agree with me.
I'm trying to take the referee's foot and run it all the way across the line to it.
Wow.
It's first. Oh, that is brutal.
They're going to say 1st down. You don't see as many measurements as you did in years gone by.
Well, credit to the view that they have. Every referee and linesman and back judge, they're standing at a very specific point to see those exact things. They didn't measure. It's a 1st down. And instead of New Brighton feeling good about that series, that's brutal.
And on the end around, a flag does come in. You would think it'll go against Beaver Falls.
Sweep to the left, and the flag went up as the sweep was developing. The first guess would be holding, but we'll see. And if it is holding on Beaver Falls has been far more difficult to... No, illegal shift.
Boy, Nick Nardone.
Either way, it's on Beaver Falls. The biggest enemy of Beaver Falls this series I'm looking to give credit to New Brighton. Beaver Falls has been shooting themselves in the foot this entire series.
Well, they've been making a lot of mental mistakes, which has really derailed their momentum. They lead it as we get near the end of the first quarter. Will they run the clock, or are they going to get another playoff? Looks like they will get one more playoff with a second left in the period. First down at 15. And it goes to Singleton, and he's brought down for the Sackaroo. Oh, my goodness, getting in there for New Brighton and making the tackle.
Tarek Milliner? No, I've got that completely backwards. That was Andrew Reynolds again, I think. And he read it and blew the play up. It was a little bit late developing, but we're right back to feeling good. If you're New Brighton, you'll take that. Compared to what it could be, you will absolutely take that. That's a builder.
We've completed one here from Reeves for the Little Brown Jug, and it's Beaver Falls 8, New Brighton nothing. On 1230 WBVP 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas and Trib Live Sports.
Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. That's why a Medic Rescue membership is so important. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Our trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you get the life-saving care you need. Get the comfort that comes with a Medic Rescue membership. Call today, 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue, caring for our community.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. This is Stefan Sasek from Tri-State Waters. I'm the guy that is out and about delivering that Tyler Mountain 100% natural spring water. I'm everywhere from New Brighton to Old Economy. Tri-State Waters delivers, and I'm the one driving the truck. From Beaver to Raccoon Township, I'm the waterman they love and the waterman that delivers. We even go to Poland, well, Ohio that is. If you need home or office delivery, call today and ask for Stefan, 724-774-4644.
So Beaver Falls now looking at second down and 21 as we start the second quarter. Tiger football at the New Brighton 41.
Second in a couple weeks is what you're looking at. But another backbreaker, you can't let them get this back. We've seen them do it a couple times.
Brickner has time to throw, and he has a receiver open in Singleton. And he gets down inside the 30. And they're going to spot him dead at the 26, but it brings up third and very manageable 6 yards to go for the first down.
Wide open underneath. Now, when it's second and 21, you're playing back a little bit, and that's what they did, but they gave up a good chunk of it. Makes it back manageable for the third down. It's 3rd and 7 is what they posted it right now. New Brighton has had a couple of good defensive plays, and New Brighton's gotten help from Beaver Falls. They need to continue to fight and stop this drive to feel good, especially into the second quarter now.
Gain of 14 on the pass to Singleton. Now Brickner will keep it. Brickner looking for some room. He's got it. He's at the 15, 10-5 touchdown. A 26-yard touchdown run by the senior Jaron Brickner, and it's 14-0 Beaver Falls.
Had a couple different places, had him contained. Just physical gives. He outran the people that had an angle on him. Once he got full to the outside, it was just run to the corner. That takes it to 14. That is so demoralizing if you're New Brighton, because you felt like you had a chance to stop this drive, and you made some great defensive plays here or there. You got some breaks here or there from penalties from Beaver Falls. But that's the threat of the athleticism of some of the Beaver Falls players. one play. That play should have gone for 5 or 6. Instead, it gets kicked outside and goes all the way.
Beaver Falls will go for the 2, and they take it in for the deuce. And that's Dre Hall, his second 2-point run. Will be back in a minute. Just 15 seconds into the second quarter. And it's Beaver Falls 16, New Brighton nothing on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live Sports.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team where everyone plays and, more importantly, everyone wins. This is Cindy Hiladio for Friendly Federal Credit Union. If you need a loan, it's game time. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden or Aliquippa. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or click friendlyfcu.org. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we sell. This is Renee from the Laughlin Insurance Agency. Sure, affordable insurance is the means that allows us to do it, but what we really provide at the Laughlin Insurance Agency is peace of mind. It's true, worrying about risk can take the fun and joy out of almost everything. We see every day how having peace of mind can lead to more enjoyment, which, last time we checked, is a fairly priceless commodity. Make life more enjoyable. Call us at 724-774-1230.
How do you kick a ball and make it spin like that?
Brickner with the kick. 2 Lions let the ball go inside the 10-yard line. Finally picked up, and they don't get it back to the 20. They'll start from their own 14-yard line. Eddie, go ahead.
This is a dangerous spot right now. Things could turn south really quickly if New Brighton doesn't do something. A 3-and-out, because there's plenty of time before halftime, 11:40. A 3-and-out here is going to give Beaver Falls a short field. They've last drive proven they don't even need a short field, and they can take penalties and still manage to get a touchdown. This is a vital drive to keep New Brighton mentally thinking that they've got a chance in this game.
Brian Taylor, the quarterback. And the pass. Oh, it should have been caught. And it goes incomplete. The intended receiver for the Lions was the freshman Dash Graham, and he just simply muffed it, and it's going to be second down. Let's bring you up to date on some of the scores. On WNBA, 14-0 Aliquippa leading Montour. Other scores from the Frye desk. Thank you, Matt Durzik, 17-0. Blackhawk at the half over Ambridge, 35-0. Central Valley leading Shore Valley. More in a moment. This time on second down and a short run of about 2. Other updates. West Allegheny 31, Newcastle 6, Avonworth 28, Hopewell nothing. Mohawk was leading Riverside 15-0. Freedom has taken a 7-0 lead over Elwood City. Penn Hills 21-0 over Moon.
A whole lot to not much.
And Olsh, 49-0 over Carleton.
Flag stop. They were going to throw the ball, but the referee said, hold on, let's get it sorted out. There's the false start.
Procedure against New Brighton. Over Carleton was the team that Elwood City beat last week to snap their 27-game losing streak.
Sounds like at least early in the season, Carleton's good for what ails you.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for the Cougars from Carnegie. Just over a minute into the second quarter, New Brighton backed up at its own 10. Taylor in trouble. They get him. Do they get a safety or no? Apparently they got him just outside the goal line. They'll be inside the 1. So they don't get the 2 points, but a crippling play, and New Brighton has 3rd and forever.
They're way inside the 1. Way. Literally, what would you say, Bob? Estimate from the goal line to the back tip of the football, maybe 3 inches. I'm not going to say that was a fortuitous spot, but Thank you, Mr. Referee.
I would say that the call was right.
It was close enough where you wouldn't have argued either spot. Whether they put it where they did or they called the safety, you'd have said, okay, it was that close. He got slung back into the end zone through the tackle, though.
Marker on the field. If it's delay of game, it'll go back a couple of inches. So that doesn't hurt New Brighton much, but it is 4th down, and they're going to need 24 yards. And this young New Brighton team is starting to look younger as the game is getting older.
And now you've got a punt from a short punting position because you don't have the full distance because of the back of the end zone. That changes the angles on the kick. That changes the angles on the guys coming in off of the corner. This is a dangerous, dangerous situation right now for New Brighton.
And the snap, they get it out of there, and it's going to be fielded. Nice job at the end, taking the football and getting it down inside the 25 is Deshaun Anderson.
He did a wonderful job, and what he did at the last second got 8 or 10 yards. He fielded that ball on the second bounce about 6 inches before the New Brighton player's head went by. He literally snagged it out of the air in amongst traffic, then took off. That got the 8 or 10 more yards, so they'll start at the 24, up 16 with 9:49 left.
They've gone, excuse me, Eddie, they've gone to the half at Burco Stadium on WNBA 14-0, Aliquippa leading Montour. Beaver Falls starts this series from the New Brighton 24, 9:49 to go in the half, 16-0 Tigers, and a whistle, and we got a timeout, New Brighton. Well, we'll reboot the battery.
Yeah.
We'll take a minute break. Beaver Falls 16, New Brighton no score, here on Beaver County Radio.
If you're an employer, what do you look for in a prospective new hire? A proven track record is usually the #1 trait. For 45 years now, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center has been creating the workforce that has shaped Western Pennsylvania industry and service sector enterprises. It's the program with proven experience that employers know they can count on when they need to fill their workforce. Enroll your child or grandchild at the known quantity among educators and business leaders alike. Signing up through your local public school is easy and can give your student the ability, in many cases, to make more in certain fields than college graduates, all without any student loans. Free career training at Beaver County Career and Technology Center is the quick choice. Visit BCCTC.org, celebrating 45 years as the best place to start a career. The Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
And flags.
Beaver Falls has recovered a fumble in the backfield, and there's also a marker on the turf here at Reeves.
It was a pitch left, and it was a muffed pitch. Beaver Falls got back on it. Illegal shift.
Another shift call against Beaver Falls. That'll be refused. They'll take the down and the loss of 6. Back to the 30.
They're going to be working on illegal shifts, I got a feeling, at practices next week, because I believe that's the 3rd that we've seen.
Yes.
Yeah?
I agree. Yeah. 3 of them. We got a new score to give. We'll give that in a moment. Pass down the field and getting his body turned around, and that'll go incomplete.
Pugh was the intended receiver. What the quarterback, what Taylor saw, he saw one-on-one coverage and tried to give his player a chance to just make a play. Threw short and to the wide side. Receiver turned inside looking for it. Yeah, take a shot. If you look up, first off, if you're New Brighton and you've got enough time to throw, that's ahead of the game because that's been a struggle. Take a shot when you see one-on-one.
That 5-yard loss was on 4th down. New Brighton now 2nd down and 10. 9:41 to go in the half. Beaver Falls with a 16-0 lead. Pass over the middle. It's caught, and that's going to give New Brighton a chance on 3rd down as the ball was grabbed by Kevin Williams.
Somebody ran the wrong route and got away with it. You had to. Xander Reynolds was in the exact same area. He ducked for the pass to get through to the second receiver. It still counts as a reception. 4th and 3, and New Brighton's going for it. 3rd and 3.
Third and 3.
I knew my math was wrong there.
Lions 3rd down and 3, looking for the first down, fighting, stretching, and getting. They needed to get to the 40, and they did. Great determination by Was it Rumble? Yes, it was. So it's a first down, New Brighton at their own 40-yard line.
That is absolutely what the doctor ordered. Small successes build on things. If you can get a first down here, that's that much more time you get to keep the ball away from Beaver Falls offense. Small successes, that's good. That's buildable.
Quaker Valley leads Seton LaSalle at the half, 20-7. Looking for their first win. Off the back foot, and the ball is going to be incomplete. There were 2 players going for it, and the ball hits the turf inside the 35.
You had Kyler Rombold was the receiver. You had 2 defensive backs from Beaver Falls. All 3 were fighting for it. Like 3 dogs fighting for a bone. Eventually it falls to the ground and none of them get it.
Good way of putting it.
Well, you and I can fight for it. One of us is probably going to get it. But if there's 3 people fighting for it, it's just going to end up being a mess, or in this case, an incomplete pass.
So it's 2nd down, 8:25 to go in the half. Lions football at their own 40. And looking, passing, and completing. And a first down, New Brighton, inside the 45 of Beaver Falls. And we have a banged-up Lion after the catch was made.
That's
Ryan Boffo with the reception. We have an injured Lion on the field. We will take a minute timeout. But New Brighton is in Beaver Falls territory. Fighting Tigers lead at 16-0 on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live Sports.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
Stretched it out, got him off to the sideline. Roll the clock
and
back.
We are ready to resume. The ball is at the 44 of Beaver Falls. Lions football, trailing 16-0. 8:05 to go in the first half from Reeves.
This is just top of my head the furthest that the offense for New Brighton's been anywhere near. Oh, bad snap.
Ball skips back to Taylor, and by the time he picks it up, he's going to be corralled by a couple orange jerseys.
That's going to lose several yards, but that could have lost much, much more. I don't know what happened. The ball didn't come back to the quarterback in the air. He was in the shotgun. The ball rolled to him at his feet.
Samari McCoy with the sack. It's going to be a loss of 6. First score in from South Park, and Beaver leads South Park at the break 15-7 from the Frye Transportation Update Desk. So it looks like we have every score accounted for except the South Side and Cornell games, and we'll work on those. This time it's Williams, and marker is down before the play got started. It's going to be a procedure call against the visitors from across the bridge.
That's a shame. That was a good run. It was a sweep left. Guys covered their gaps and got the running back into the secondary before any contact. But then you saw the flag hit, and that goes away. There's no margin of error. And when you do things like that, it's so incredibly frustrating, especially after you start to do a couple good things. And like I said, New Brighton, you're down 16-0 right now. But there are positive things, and that's what a coaching staff's looking for when they're looking, especially at young players. Is it a work in progress? And you're seeing things develop and things get better here, Bob, but you can't hand it back with a procedure call. Or you, in case of Beaver Falls, you can't hand it back with multiple illegal shift calls.
2nd down and 21 for New Brighton at their 45. Rolling out is Taylor. And a marker comes on the field. Taylor's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Now we'll see what Nick Nardone decides to do. Does he take the play, or will he back up New Brighton more yards?
If he takes the play, it's going to be dead at midfield, and that would make it look like 3rd and a bunch, 15 or so.
And they're going to decline it.
There's your answer.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 17.
A bunch.
So the Lions, which have shown some spots of movement.
They have, yeah. They've shown the occasional, hey, that was a good play, and that's what you're looking for. But you can't keep giving it back with mistakes at all. Two final line, you're already down 2 scores.
6:39 to go in a half, 16-0. It's Taylor. Taylor looks, can't find anybody, and now he just throws it, and it hits the carpet harmlessly. And it's going to bring up 4th down for New Brighton.
One of the rushers got a fingertip on that. That's why that ball fluttered away and fell.
And New Brighton will play for field position with 6:33 to go in the half.
And the punter's heart rate should be quite a bit lower than the last one. He's not stuck at the back end of his own end zone.
Isaac Kohlmeyer to do the boot.
He's got a long field to kick to. He should be excited.
Good snap. Kick high, angles away, and it'll go out of bounds near the 20-yard line. They're going to say to the 22. So positive play for New Brighton. No return on the punt. And that was Anderson back deep, but he didn't have a chance. And the Tigers take over at their 22 with a 16-0 lead.
That, you didn't see New Brighton get any points. That was absolutely a positive possession for New Brighton. You kept control of the ball. You changed the field. 6.5 minutes. Yeah, yes. Beaver Falls could drive down and score. But it's those baby steps. In this case, it's a longer field.
Well, I think the New Brighton defense has grown some. I mean, Beaver Falls is not just moving the ball at will, as they do pick up a gain of about 5 on the draw play, and that was Brichter on the keeper, gets it out to the 27.
You don't feel bad about that. You don't give up a big play. You're still maintaining. You're still containing. You can feel good about that. And we've got a timeout.
Or an official's time. Well, apparently
injury.
It is an injury timeout. We'll take a minute break. Midway through the second quarter, Beaver Falls 16, New Brighton nothing. We'll return to the Hill, College Hill, on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live.
After any big game, people will be talking. This is Ellen Bross from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. The same is true when you get your new vehicle from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Neighbors, friends, and co-workers will notice the new winning style reflected in the car, truck, or SUV you just got from Falcone's Moon Township Ford, located on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris. Click and save at moonford.com and discover what the talk is all about. Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
And that's Rumbold, Kyler Rumbold, favoring that left leg, Eddie Crow says. Hopefully he'll get back in the lineup soon. Jet sweep, near side, marker on the field. This will probably be coming back. And with the carry was Michael Blackshear, who had a 93-yard touchdown run in the win over Knock last week. But this has to be going against the orange and black.
Rumbold returns. I'm kind of surprised with him out that they didn't look for something on the backside, because he's part of...
Blindside block. That'll cost the Tigers 10. No football here tomorrow. That doesn't mean Geneva's idle, though. We'll have the Golden Tornadoes at Waynesburg at 12:30 here on 12:30, 99.3.
As much as New Brighton has occasionally created problems for Beaver Falls has created a lot of problems for Beaver Falls.
Yeah, it's not been a cakewalk by any means. Brichter sideline pass, and he's got Ashbacher. Ashbacher able to lose one tackler, still on his feet. What a run by Ashbacher! He's down the far sideline, still on his feet.
The block
30,
made
25,
it.
20, 10, 5. One of the most amazing touchdown plays you're ever going to see.
I'm looking for flags. I don't see any flags. That was 100% one player until the teammate at the end. One New Brighton player, after circling back, had a chance to stop that being a touchdown. I didn't see who the Beaver Falls player was that stayed with the play and made the last block to allow across. That's a highlight film. That's better than the last one I said was a highlight film. That was beast mode. That was beast mode for about 85 yards. And that takes it to 22 with 5:15 left. Beaver Falls, I don't see a kicker out there. So, Bob, I think you may be right. They're going to go for the 2.
What a tremendous play on the short catch and the great run by Ashbacher. He goes 87 yards for the touchdown. And the pass.
Yep.
And it is good for 2. And catching it was Ashbacher. Why not? He did all the dirty work. 87 yards and catches the 2 with 5:12 to go in the half. We'll take a minute timeout from Reeves. Beaver Falls 24, New Brighton nothing on WBVP 99.3 FM and Trib Live Sports.
There's no place like Community College of Beaver County. Confidence happens here. Connection happens here. Opportunity happens here. Your best you happens here. Your future happens here. Home is here. At CCBC, you're right where you need to be to find real learning for real life. And there's still time to join us. Enroll now through October 14th for fall mini-mesters. Same classes, less time. Visit ccbc.edu/fall. You belong here.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. By Barrickman, here for electric garage door sales in Monaca. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors and lift mask.
But it was Ashbacher who scored on the long play, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, dear Lord. It didn't even...
And we return to Reeves. And the kick by Beaver Falls goes out of bounds. But the electrifying 83-yard pass to Ashbacher, it looked like he was going to be stopped for a short game.
He was. He was stopped.
He tiptoed the sidelines, somehow broke free, and goes for the TD. And his team is now on top 24-0.
He was stopped twice. He broke out of both tackles, then took off. A block downfield is what finished the play. But that's the greatest quarterback. You're a quarterback's favorite. I'm going to throw it to you for 7 yards. You run for 80. It looks like an 87-yarder.
And the run goes to Williams. He'll lose about 4. Back to the 41. Maybe a 3-yard loss.
Complete penetration from the left side of the defensive line for Beaver Falls. No chance. One of those you get handed the ball and look, and everyone's standing there waiting for you.
78 yards in total on that drive, if you could call it that. An Ashbacher, following the penalty, goes 87 for the touchdown.
It's another danger point. 4.5 minutes left. You're down 24 and you're backed up. The last thing you want to do is give Beaver Falls another chance before the break.
4:25 to go.
A new Brighton score would be brilliant. New Brighton keeping the ball until halftime would be 2/3 of a win.
New Brighton calls a timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. 4:23 to go in the half. Beaver Falls 24, New Brighton nothing. Beaver County Radio on a Friday night on College Hill continues after this.
When Mary arrived for her second visit, she opened my door and danced from the door to my front desk with this huge smile on her face. And then she just started bawling. She starts to tell me that it was the first time in 12 years that she felt relief. And then I started to well up.
That's Dr. Sean Ritchie of Tri-State Neuropathy Centers. And Mary Danced In is just one of his thousands of success stories.
Peripheral neuropathy, if I can explain it in terms that they feel it, it's like if you would sit on your foot and your foot falls asleep, you start to tap it and it comes back to life. Or their foot never comes back to life. It's always feeling that numbness, that pins and needles, that tingling, and it just never goes away. So Mary comes in, proceed to hear that she's had this for 12 years. Got to the point where she was about to go into a walker. 2 days later, she's dancing.
For your free consultation, call 724-940-9000. That's 724-940-9000. Or go to marydancedin.com.
I'm Dr. Sean Ritchie, and I'm teaming up with Dr. Jared Yevans to bring hope to the neuropathy sufferers in Beaver.
Michael Vion with the call. He'll lose about 3, and now it becomes
3rd and back. It's showing 3rd and 10, but the sticks don't indicate that. I suspect it's 3rd and about 17.
I agree with you.
There. Now the scoreboard, 3rd and 17. When the other team is probably a little bit better at this point in the game, another danger point. There's 4:06 left. You're down 24. New Brighton scoring would be wonderful to go in at halftime on a high note. New Brighton keeping the ball and not giving up any more scores to Beaver Falls before the 4:06 till halftime. You would count that as a win. That would be one of the positives when you get in there and the coaches start talking about, here's what we did positive. Here's where we did step up and maintain. That would be one of the things that get pointed out. Look, right before halftime, we did what we needed to do.
Well, we got a couple fresh scores for Matt Durzik. Freedom leading Elwood City at the break 13-0. They've gone to the third quarter in Chippewa. Ambridge on the board for the first time, trailing the Cougars 17-7.
Blitz time perfectly.
Rolling out is Taylor. And there is a marker. Taylor got the first down, but it should be all for naught.
Timed the blitz perfectly, was in the backfield. The quarterback made a move and made that player miss. Behind the play, you saw the flag come down. Usually where they're going to say holding, and they did.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still 3rd down.
Double frustrating because when and where that hold took place, the Beaver Falls player that got held wasn't going to make that play. He was out of the play. He was on the other side. Frustrating. Well, and now backing up with the clock stopped.
They need about 30 for the first down. Just under 4 minutes to go in the half. 24-0 Beaver Falls.
I'm guessing 3rd and 29. Although it's not a real different playbook. If you're 3rd and 29 or 3rd and 30, you're probably looking at the same page, aren't you?
Well, for this offense, which has struggled most of the season,
hand off to make things simple.
They'll try to get something, and they get nothing. Maybe another yard loss. And Beaver Falls, which had 3 timeouts, now with 2. So Beaver Falls stops the clock for the first time. We'll take a minute break. The new Brighton punt, it's coming up. Beaver Falls' offense is coming up next, leading 24-0 on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live.
Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Frye Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Frye Transportation fleet. Frye Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Frye Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Frye Transportation.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
4th and a month, 32.
And New Brighton will bring in the punting unit. Beaver Falls will have plenty of time, and this kick is a short one. But it's going to be scooped up at the 47.
Oh, no.
Down the left sideline is Anderson. He'll get down to about the 15, setting up shop for what could be another Tiger touchdown. They'll say he stepped out at the 18.
He was pushed out at the 18. The plan was, and I understand the plan, the punter, kick it to the sideline, kick it away, and avoid a long run back. But it was a short enough punt, and it got a high enough bounce. The running back caught it on the fly just going around the corner. And there was one player that was in a position to run him out of bounds. If not for that one play, that's a touchdown. 3:44. New Brighton right now needs to stiffen up, or this could be done.
And on play action, it's Brickner. Brickner able to shake a tackle, and he's out of bounds, close to a first down at the 8-yard line.
He's got Division I moves. There were 3 different New Brighton players that had him dead to rights, and he just juked his way out of that to get to the outside and pick up another 8 or 9 after 3 opportunities to shut that down. He was not caught, but he was hemmed up in the backfield.
First and goal for Beaver Falls, 3:37 for the Fighting Tigers. Trying for their 4th touchdown of the evening. Brickner, he'll keep it. He's at the 5, the 2.
I think he's
and he
short.
stopped just short of the goal line.
Got tripped up just in time for him to roll it across the goal line, but they're going to mark it about the same spot that New Brighton had to punt from. It's about 4 inches from the goal line.
So Beaver Falls wastes no time. Coming up to the line of scrimmage. Rawl is behind Brickner in the backfield. And we got an official's time. And trying to see, is there an injured player?
I don't see anyone down. You had trainers from both teams start to run out. I do see one of the New Brighton players kind of walking off. Looks like he's favoring his left arm or left shoulder. So that may have been the official timeout. They're looking at him. I can't see a number.
Ready to resume. Brickner behind center. Inches to go. Brickner will try, and on the second effort, he's in for the touchdown. Brickner sold nothing up the middle. saw a crease to the right side, and Brickner gets his second touchdown of the game, and it's 30-0.
It was not uncontested. He did get stacked up on the original spot, but he just slid down the line, and there was a gap there. 30 with 2:58 left.
Will try, and on the
last 3
effort,
minutes emotionally undoes a lot of things that you could have felt good about if you were New Brighton. The coaches are going to have a task at halftime to keep guys focused on it.
Deshaun Anderson with a nifty punt return, setting up the short 18-yard march for Beaver Falls. They'll go for the 2 for the 4th time or the 5th time in the game.
Yep.
And they'll get the 2 for the 5th time in the game.
Untouched.
And that will make the score. Actually, it was the 4th touchdown for Beaver Falls, along with 4 2-pointers. Anderson takes it in. We'll take a minute timeout from Reeves Stadium. Beaver Falls now in command. It's 32-0. Just inside of 3 minutes to go in a half. Here on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live Sports.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
A little tiptoey, but he's been hurt. The fact he's running it all, be happy.
And the short kickoff to the 20, picked up by Kyler Rumbold, and he goes 13 on the return to the 33. At the half, we'll go down all the scores. Matt Durzik doing a great job from the Frye Transportation Update Desk. We'll also have our weekly interview session with Dawn Rebel and Chris Harlan from Trib Live Sports. 2:53 to go in the half. And
fumble.
A loose football.
Oh, no.
And who recovers it? Beaver Falls. Well, do they get it? Apparently New Brighton did.
I think New Brighton got it back under the... It was a pitch. Beaver Falls blitzed. Again, timed to blitz perfectly. The ball to the runner and the defensive player both got there at the same time and absolutely blew it up. Seldom do you look and you say, okay, we lost, what is that, 8 or 9? And be happy. Be happy because there were 3 Beaver Falls jerseys around that ball. New Brighton got it back.
Clock ticking, 2:15 to go in the second quarter.
Another handoff, another blown up.
And they guessed right again. Kevin Williams had no time to do anything with the pigskin except eat it for about a 4-yard loss back to the 18.
The handoff hit him in the chest about a half a second before the defensive player hit him in the chest. That was another play that if the defensive back or the defensive player is 2 yards into your backfield when the handoff happens, it's got no chance of success. Without some amazing individual effort, it's got no chance of success. And Beaver Falls is winning on the defensive line. New Brighton's offense isn't getting a chance to try to move forward.
Pass over the middle, caught for about a 6-yard gain to the 25. Now Beaver Falls does have a timeout left.
Timeout.
Beaver Falls.
Their third and final timeout of the half.
And we'll take our final timeout of the half. Minute 19 to go. Beaver Falls once more They lead at 32-0 over New Brighton on WBVP and 99.3 FM.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team where everyone plays and, more importantly, everyone wins. This is Cindy Hiladio for Friendly Federal Credit Union. If you need a loan, it's game time. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden-Araquip. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or click friendlyfcu.org. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
After any big game, people will be talking. This is Ellen Bross from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. The same is true when you get your new vehicle from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Neighbors, friends, and co-workers will notice the new winning style reflected in the car, truck, or SUV you just got from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Located on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris. Click and save at moonford.com and discover what the talk is all about. Falcone's Moon Township Ford, we're friends and send.
And the kick. It's got some good hang time, and Anderson will let it roll. And Beaver Falls is going to have to work hard to increase the lead. They'll start from their own 33 with no timeouts and 1:06 on the clock.
Gives you 3 shots at it. Not fielding the punt just cost Beaver Falls. I'm looking for something to be critical of Beaver Falls. Besides the penalties, they haven't done too much out of line. You field that punt, even on a fair catch. You field that punt, you save. Oh.
And now they'll mark off 10 against.
I say look for something to be critical about. Yeah, you're holding on a punt return team. You can be critical of that. But if you can field the punt, even if you take it on a fair catch, that saves another 8 yards. Of course, that was before we knew about the holding call, so it's a moot point. They're going to start at their 23, so 77 yards in 1:06 with no timeouts.
Beaver Falls, if they were to get a touchdown, that would necessitate the mercy roll at the start of the second half. But they have no timeouts, and they need 77 yards. Rolling out. Down the field, Brickner's pass. There is a receiver open, and it's broken up at the last moment by Kevin Williams. They almost connected down at the 30-yard line.
He was open. The pass wasn't late, but it did hold up a little bit and allow the defensive back to get back into coverage. A perfect pass on time. He was open. That would have been a touchdown. It held up just enough to allow New Brighton to dodge that one.
Demetrius Taylor, the intended receiver.
And I do the same thing again. You're talking about, 58 seconds, 2nd and 10. Why not? Throw it down. Worst case scenario, you punt it down with very little or no time on the clock. For your defense, it's given up nothing.
Brickner's pass over the middle, and it's dropped. Incomplete. The receiver was thinking about running before he had possession of the football. It's 3rd down and 10.
He saw a lot of green.
Yes.
But he saw the green and didn't pay attention to the football first. And there was a gap. If he fields that cleanly, that's got a chance for decent yards. And sometimes your legs take over when your eyes should have stayed focused. It happens.
Clock stop, 55.3 seconds left before the break. We'll have all kinds of scores for you from other games during our halftime show.
Scramble.
Now Brickner runs out of the pocket. Good block. Enables Brickner to get yardage. He'll scoot out of bounds at the 45-yard line with 45 seconds to go in the half.
That's a first down, and that stops the clock so they can reset. They were looking deep, and the one deep receiver they had in double coverage, so Brickner just took off and ran until he ran out of space, then stopped the clock. Almost methodical. In a frantic way, almost methodical, what they can do at times on offense. Can you be methodical and frantic at the same time?
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that, Bob. Thank you.
You've been that way on Teleform.
I've been that way for years.
Now the sideline pass caught by Ashbacher. Ashbacher, he's able to get out of bounds, and that was the smartest thing. It was a short pickup of 2, but the clock is frozen with 38.8 left in the half.
That was smart. He saw he's going to get a yard or 2. If he cuts it back inside from the sideline, he might get 3 or 4 more yards. But he saw the sideline, and that's the Beaver Falls sideline. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody said get out of bounds. Got out of bounds, stop the clock. You've got at least 2 more plays.
So Brickner goes to the gun. Ashbacher, his sidecar right. 2 receivers right. Brickner, his pass, and it's incomplete.
Threw behind the wide receiver. Ran a clean out route underneath, and it cleaned out. That receiver on the sideline was open. By that point, he had run far enough. Pass was behind and sideline side instead of inside.
3rd down and 8. Riverside has made it interesting at Mohawk, now trailing 15-13 in the 3rd quarter.
15-13? That's like a Pirate score. I like that.
Aliquippa continues to lead 14-0 at Montour on WNBA. Time is called as they have to adjust the play clock with 34 seconds to go before the half. A very long first half here on the campus of Geneva College.
Two short receivers, one wide right, one in the backfield.
Brickner looks, and his pass is hauled in by Anderson. Anderson inside the 40. He'll be wrestled down at the 32. Clock is stopped to move the sticks with 25 and a half left in the half.
You line up and spike it here, or do you try and get an actual play on? They just rolled the clock, so it's rolling coming up on 20 seconds.
Well, Beaver Falls acting like they're in no hurry.
No hurry at all. There's the spike.
Now they'll spike it, but they allowed about 13 seconds to come off the clock. It'll be 3rd down and 8, or 2nd down and 8, with 12 and a half seconds to go before halftime.
If you go straight downfield, you're going to get 2 shots at it. Anything underneath, that might be the only shot. But if you go straight downfield and just try and beat someone in a one-on-one matchup, you're going to get 2 shots. Brickner got the play, comes running back in. 2 wide each side. Look for him to go full down. Underneath,
Pass
inside
caught
right.
At the 30, 25, out of bounds. At the 12 with 5.4 seconds to go in the half. We haven't reached halftime yet here, and we already have a final. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, 56-0 over Carlinton.
Oh, my.
And Riverside, which was down 15-0, now leading Mohawk 19-15 in the 3rd.
So it could happen. 5 seconds left, 1 play, unless there's a penalty, 1 play here.
Ball was at the 12.
Pick.
Interception. First turnover for New Brighton tonight.
He's not down yet.
And that is Taylor Jr. So the Lions force a turnover, and that will do it for 1 half here from Reeves in the battle for the Little Brown Jug. The score at the half, Beaver Falls 32, New Brighton nothing. We'll take this 1-minute timeout. We'll recap the scoring here to get our halftime show started on 1230 WBVP 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas. On Facebook Live tonight and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. That's why a Medic Rescue membership is so important. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Our trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you get the life-saving care you need. Get the comfort that comes with a Medic Rescue membership. Call today, 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue, caring for our community.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. This is Stefan Sasek from Tri-State Waters. I'm the guy that is out and about delivering that Tyler Mountain 100% natural spring water. I'm everywhere from New Brighton to Old Economy. Tri-State Waters delivers, and I'm the one driving the truck. From Beaver to Raccoon Township, I'm the waterman they love and the waterman that delivers. We even go to Poland, well, Ohio that is. If you need home or office delivery, call today and ask for Stefan, 724-774-4644.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Why choose the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George? Attorney Larry Kelly explains.
First of all, we've been AV rated by Martindale-Hubbell. It's the highest rating you can get for legal ability and ethics, and that comes from our peers. We have board-certified civil trial specialist, which is like another bar exam. Would you go to a doctor who is not board-certified? Probably not. I've always said, and I tell my daughters, I have 3 daughters who are attorneys. Those in the profession know. The lawyers of LGKG have the respect of our peers, and that's all I ever cared about.
For your free initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
A lot of flag girl love out there for you if you play.
It's halftime here in the battle for the Little Brown Jug, and Beaver Falls, which won twice against New Brighton last year, comfortably on top at the break, 32-0. Even though New Brighton's defense has shown some signs of growth, the offense, though, has struggled mightily throughout the evening. Beaver Falls got it started, a 1-yard run by Bricks Rawl after Rawl took it from the 26 down to the 1. It started after Beaver Falls recovered a New Brighton fumble. That came at 9:20, and then Dre Hall ran it in for 2 to make it 8-0. Then Jaron Brichter calls his own number, play action, 26-yard run. Just 15 seconds into the second quarter, Hall runs it in for 2. It's 16-0. And then the electrifying play of the game, an 87-yard catch and run by Isaiah Ashbacher. The catch was about 7 yards. The run was for 80, but it goes on his passing stats. With 5:12 to go in the half, Ashbacher then ran it in for 2 to make it 24-0. Then Brichter scored on a 1-yard run with 3 minutes to go in the half. And then Anderson ran it in for 2 to make it 32-0. Beaver Falls, with no timeouts and about 77 yards to work with, got it close.
Close enough to be unsettling again.
Right.
Yeah.
But then they throw the late interception, so New Brighton holds off that bid. And Eddie, your thoughts on this 32-0 Beaver Falls advantage?
I saw things that at halftime, the New Brighton staff, Tony and his staff, can point out. Here's where we did good. Here's where we were positive. There's obviously down 32-0. There's plenty to say. Here's where we got to get better. But to be blunt, the only reason it's 32-0 is because Beaver Falls once or twice, if not more, in just about every drive would find a way to do something goofy. Now, they obviously still figured out a way to score points in spite of multiple penalties. I think 3 illegal shift penalties. Just there was a unsportsmanlike taunting penalty in there. It could be much worse than it is. So both coaches have plenty to squawk about at halftime. But it's pretty much what I expected. Beaver Falls' offensive line is good. Beaver Falls' defensive line is overwhelming New Brighton. You talk about New Brighton's offense not getting anything going. They haven't had time.
All right. We got scores to go over later on in the intermission, but our first move will be to take a 2-minute timeout, and then the halftime segment with Don Rebel and Chris Harlan from Trib Live Sports. Right here, it's Beaver Falls 32, New Brighton nothing. The segment with Trib Live coming up after this break on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
If you're an employer, what do you look for in a prospective new hire? A proven track record is usually the #1 trait. For 45 years now, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center has been creating the workforce that has shaped Western Pennsylvania industry and service sector enterprises. It's the program with proven experience that employers know they can count on when they need to fill their workforce. Enroll your child or grandchild at the known quantity among educators and business leaders alike. Signing up through your local public school is easy and can give your student the ability, in many cases, to make more in certain fields than college graduates, all without any student loans. Free career training at Beaver County Career and Technology Center is the perfect choice. Visit BCCTC.org, celebrating 45 years as the best place to start a career. The Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
It's the Week 3 edition of the Halftime Show on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Don Rebel with you. Hope you're enjoying the action of the contest you were watching or listening to on HSSN. Chris Harlan, my sidekick here at the Halftime Show each and every year, each and every week, is kind enough to join us here. Week 3, we're kicking off a lot of conference games today. That's exciting stuff. But this season, a lot of exciting things going on at 3 particular schools. Well, yeah, 3 particular school districts around the WPIAL. One has already opened up a new stadium, South Allegheny, christened their new stadium right on campus a couple of weeks ago. 2 teams are pretty much playing their season. They didn't sync up as well to have a stadium ready for this fall, but they're pretty much playing most of their games on the road. Everybody's heard about the changes at Aliquippa High School, the historic pit, Carl Ashman Stadium. Got it out, and then they're rebuilding it. The other one is Knock. They're working on major renovations at the facility in Saxonburg, and the Knights thus far the Road Warriors along with the Quips. Chris, it leads us to stadiums. Some old, some new, some may once were borrowed, and some are maybe even colored blue. But every facility, every stadium seems to have its own story.
They do. It's interesting with South Allegheny and Aliquippa going different routes. With South Allegheny, the old Glassport Stadium, I think, has been there since about the 50s, where they moved their stadium. They moved up to a school where Aliquippa went the other way. They took the pit, Ashman Stadium, which I think is maybe the most intimidating home field in the WPIL, and they tore it down to the ground, and they're going to build up a new stadium on that same spot. They said, hey, we want to keep this ground. This is where all the great Quips played. We want to stay here and keep playing in that same spot. So a little different approaches. It will be interesting to see what kind of ambiance those schools have, what the feeling's like coming into the new stadiums. So definitely And I have an affinity. I kind of like those old stadiums. I kind of do. I understand at some point an old stadium becomes an old stadium and it starts crumbling and you've got to do something about it. But I kind of like those old ones when you walk into a place like the Wolverina with Woodland Hills Stadium and you see, the oldness of the place and the historicness and think about the players who have come through that field in previous years. I think there's something to that. And the places kind of like Ambridge. I mean, they've got an old stadium also built, I think, in the 1930s, and Mo Rubenstein, and they renovated that place and a number of years ago, gave it a good upgrade. So, I like to see if you can keep those old stadiums, great, but at some point an old stadium becomes an old stadium and you've got to move on.
No, it's a great point. And I think especially with, you mentioned the Wolverina, they renovated, they made some changes, they updated things so it's much more comfortable for the fan base, but yet there are still signs of what it used to be, right, and signs of, yesteryear, so to speak, and not only before Woodland or at Woodland Hills, but old Turtle Creek High School.
Yes. And the Wolverine also has something to with just how big it is. I think I've seen estimates that says it seats like 12,000, something like that. And I think there was a time the USA Today had it ranked as one of the top 10 high school venues in the country. So that's pretty cool. And it has as much to do with the stadium as who played there. Also boosts up when you're looking for top venues in the country. That, if you lose all your games, who cares what your stadium is? If you play really nicely, have really good players, then you care. But to me, if you look around the WPL, there are some good stadiums that, some of the big ones like Martorelli at North Hills, Newman Stadium in North Allegheny, or maybe a Reeves Field that Beaver Falls uses at Geneva's Stadium, where they're big venues. And when they've got a big game and they've got a big crowd, I don't know if there's anything quite like that either, where you can just get, 10,000 people in a stadium all cheering. And that's fun. I mean, those venues there, I think there's something to be said for that too. And even in Norwin now, that's a stadium that's getting used a lot by the WPL for championships. When you get a big crowd in a big stadium like that, it's a fun atmosphere, definitely on a Friday night.
You play a lot of games at a venue, it starts to get a reputation. No question about that. We are lucky as members of the media. We're usually up high, sometimes a little too high and too far from the action, but nonetheless, you get to appreciate some of the panoramic views of the sprawling hills of Western Pennsylvania. And again, that's the mix of, the newer stadiums and some of the older fields, if you will, that allow you to easily imagine the game being played 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah. I also like those stadiums that are still tucked away in communities. They were built in the middle of a town. I think like Offutt Field in Greensburg comes to mind, where it's kind of right there in amongst houses. I grew up in Newcastle, so Tigard Stadium was that way. It's next to a junior high, but still it's right in the middle of a neighborhood where people walk to the game on Friday nights. And I think that's a fun tradition you see at some of those places. It also reminds me of Neil Brown Stadium with Clare, kind of there in a neighborhood. If you go there on a Friday night, people are walking in. It's not just a line of cars coming in. People are walking up. Another one, I think it's a fun old stadium that's been renovated, is Graham Field in Wilkinsburg.
Historic.
Historic. Right. You can't say Graham Field without saying historic, right. Graham Field. Another one that tucked into a community that there's something different when you see people walking up on a Friday night. I think Dormont Stadium could probably fit into that category too, where you see people going in.
You could have 100 people at a game at Graham Field, but if the band is located underneath that grandstand and they're playing, it sounds like 5,000 people. So I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah. I also got to give some kudos to some of the new stadiums that are being built too. I mean, you look at places like South Fayette, they did a really nice job. Upper St. Clair built a new administration building right on top of their field, right, to make it part press box. So you see those stuff. I think the new LED lights, you're seeing these giant scoreboards. The Gateway's got one. North Allegheny's got them. The big video screens where you can see replays. So schools are putting a lot of money into these fields, and they're doing a nice job. So there's definitely something to be said about the nice brand new facilities. And I think that's where you're going to see at Aliquippa when they build theirs up. You're going to see the video screens. You're going to see the LED lights. You're going to see the the bleachers that aren't crumbling cement.
Yep.
Not quite the same old pit, but it'll definitely be a nice facility for Aliquippa to play in.
You're out there every Friday. I don't get to get you. I'm at World Headquarters every Friday. Saturday, I go out. Two of the things that jump out to me, the Herman, Pennsylvania, home of the Summit Academy Knights. That is as old school as you can get. They used to set us up on scaffolding, but they now have a press box. That's a lot of fun. And Riverside Stadium, right? Riverview High School along the banks of the Allegheny. Even though Riverview has struggled over the last couple of centuries, you get a beautiful fall afternoon, late fall afternoon with the trees turning. Oh my gosh, what a backdrop.
Yep. I like when I got the new stadiums. Last year I got to see Springdale's on a Friday night for the first time. Same thing, kind of tucked into a neighborhood in that. So there's a lot of really nice stadiums out there on Friday nights, and they do. It's part of the fabric of high school football.
So what we're telling you is go out to your local stadium and enjoy some high school football, especially while the weather is still pretty darn good. Chris, good job. We'll talk to you again next week. Enjoy the second half of the game you're listening to. Don't forget the scoreboard show after the game, right here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Why choose the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George? Attorney Larry Kelly explains.
First of all, we've been AV rated by Martindale-Hubbell. It's the highest rating you can get for legal ability and ethics, and that comes from our peers. We have board-certified civil trial specialist, which is like another bar exam. Would you go to a doctor who is not board-certified? Probably not. I've always said, and I tell my daughters, I have 3 daughters who are attorneys. Those in the profession know. The lawyers of LGKG have the respect of our peers, and that's all I ever cared about.
For your free initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. That's why a Medic Rescue membership is so important. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Our trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you can care you need. 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue.
Thanks for tuning in to high school football here on Beaver County Radio, now entering our 75th year in broadcasting high school games. 2022 high school football coverage is being brought to you in part by Friendly Federal Credit Union, Moon Township Auto, Electric Garage Doors, Frye Transportation, Luxembourg, Kelly & George, Dusty Timothy Lip, the Community College of Beaver County, Keystone Wellness Program, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Beaver County Career Technical Institute, Tri-State Neuropathy, Drug-Free Communities, and Beaver County Radio.
And it's still halftime here on the campus of Geneva College and Beaver Falls with a comfortable 32-0 lead over New Brighton. And of course, tonight's game not only on Beaver County Radio, but our Facebook Live page, and Curtis Walsh, who's handling the controls up here in the press box, tells us now we have instant replay, slow motion on the video feed on Facebook Live. We're getting fancier all the time. No thanks to me. It's the guys in the truck, people like Curtis Walsh and Facebook that makes it so possible. And his dad, Keith, doing a great job again with the camera, with Eddie Crow up by Barrickman. Let's look at the scores. And there's only one game to this point that's a one-possession game.
Really?
And that is Riverside leading Mohawk 19-15. These scores from Matt Durzik from the Frye Transportation Instant Update Desk. They're in the fourth quarter on WNBA. Mike Azadian and Bruce Frye, they're seeing a shutout as well. Aliquippa leading Montour 27-0. We have a final. Blackhawk has defeated Ambridge 31-14.
All right. Ambridge is my team because that's where I live. That's okay. They struggled last year. That's okay. Just like I talked about with New Brighton. One play at a time, find things to be positive about. I'm going to be positive about that Ambridge score in spite of the fact that they lost.
All right, so Blackhawk a winner. In the fourth now, Central Valley 51, Chartiers Valley 6. West Allegheny leading Newcastle 45-14. Last score we had Beaver 25, South Park 7. Another final. Avonworth easily over Hopewell 50-0. Quaker Valley, yes, 34-20. Quaker Valley leading Seton LaSalle. At the half, it was 13-0 Freedom over Elwood City. Another final just in. Southside all over Northgate, 49-0. The Rams stay undefeated. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, 56. Carleton 0. And Penn Hills was leading Moon 35-0. Pirates trailing the Mets 3-1 in the seventh. And the high school games tomorrow, Rochester at Summit Academy at 12:30. And a pair of 3-0 teams going at it. Neshannock and Western Beaver in the Big Seven. They'll start at 12:30 from Rich Neobala Football Field in Industry. We'll have Geneva and Waynesburg tomorrow, 12:30 airtime. Bruce Frye joins me on South 79 at Waynesburg. And then we have Pitt looking for revenge against Western Michigan. Panthers pregame at 5:30 here on WBVP, WNBA, 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM. And we got, the final is, we do have a final. Southside winning that one 49-0. And Blackhawk with the big win over Ambridge. We'll have scores. This game is still not gone to the second half. Now, the only way that this game might quicken would be if Beaver Falls would get a score.
Right.
And the mercy rule would kick in.
That kicks in at 35.
35-0.
All right.
So unless they got a safety, any score would kick in the mercy rule.
Just say they're going to do it, it's going to have to be a touchdown because I haven't seen any ball kicked particularly well when it has been kicked. They don't kick extra points, so you probably aren't going to see them line up for field goals. So the mercy rule will go into effect next Beaver Falls touchdown. Here's what you do if you're Beaver Falls. You clean up your mistakes. Obviously, short of Armageddon, you're going to win this game. That's the Beaver Falls approach. Get it together. We had a lot of weird penalties, illegal shifts, things like that, and put ourselves behind when we didn't need to be. And later on, you're going to play teams that you're not going to be ahead 32-0. Those goofy mistakes, those mental lapses, they didn't cost you in the first half here, obviously. They can cost you later on down the road. If you're New Brighton, one play at a time, win the play, feel positive going into the next play. There's no pressure on you down 32-0. One play at a time, do the best you can, get up, do it again.
Let's repeat the finals from the Frye Transportation Update Desk. Another one just in. Central Valley 31 in a row. Warriors 58, Chartiers Valley 13. Blackhawk 31, Ambridge 14. Avonworth 50, Hopewell nothing. Southside 49, Northgate nothing. Olsh 56, Carleton nothing. Those are the finals in the fourth quarter on WNBA. Aliquippa 27, Montour no score. And now we are ready for the second half here, where it's another goose egg of a game, at least for now. 32-0. Beaver Falls leading New Brighton.
Do any of those scores that you ran down, do any of those absolutely shock you? Nothing. I mean, some of the differences, like, wow.
Yeah. That would be the only thing. I thought maybe Ambridge and Blackhawk would have been a closer game tonight. Right. Most of the others don't really surprise me. Maybe as you said, Eddie, the difference in score might get your attention, but for the most part, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, there's only one game out there that's a one-possession difference, and Riverside was leading Mohawk 19-15.
Well, we've got 32-0 here, and Beaver Falls will receive the kick in the second half. So I'm not trying to predict, but that rolling clock could happen fairly early. Or Beaver Falls could have several pre-snap penalties.
Wobbly kick, and it's going to go out of bounds.
It barely got out of bounds.
So Beaver Falls, you're right, Eddie, that's a live football off the tee, but Beaver Falls can begin from their own 35, and they will.
The returner, was about a half a second from a serious decision. The ball was going out of bounds, but it held up a little bit about a half a yard before. You had guys coming down, and it was do I fall on it or kick it out of bounds, or do I hope it goes out of bounds? And it just snuck out by about 2 yards, so Beaver Falls will start 65 yards away. Is that math right? Yes, it is. 65, 35, 100.
Right on.
It's the highlight of my night. As far as math goes, I'm not going to do better than that.
Beaver Falls heading toward the north end zone with a 32-0 lead on New Brighton. Quick drop, pass is caught, and they'll turn that into about a 7-yard pickup with the reception as Blackshear for Beaver Falls.
It's a very, very simple, safe pass. Got two receivers out left. One receiver runs about a 2-yard route, then sets up for the block. The other receiver slides outside and is wide open. You throw, and you've already got a blocker in front.
2nd and 3.
Handoff.
And the give, and the first down. Slipping as he made the cut was Dre Hall. He's not happy. He gets plenty for the first down of the 49. He was thinking a lot more.
If he can get that right foot dug in to make the hip turn, there's nobody on the outside. That goes to the corner to the left, and he knew it. Again.
Hall gets about 3, gets it in New Brighton territory to the 48. The other game that was a swing game that could have gone interesting, but a freedom touchdown has put the Bulldogs on top of Elwood City, 21-0 after 3 quarters.
That was one of the ones you thought, well, you know what, maybe this could be close, but you're right, 21 3/4.
And it goes to Hall.
Not down yet.
Hall fighting for the first down, just coming up about a yard shy at the 42.
Great run. He didn't get the first down, but 5 of those yards came after 2 people had locked up on him. And I think we see the plan for the second half for Beaver Falls. Hand the ball off, hand it up again, and cruise.
3rd down and 1.
Sneak.
Brickner will keep it. He's got the first down. Gain of 3 to the 38-yard line.
That looked like one of those plays the quarterback gets up there. He may have a play called, but he's taught if you see a space, switch off to this, get especially short yardage like that, switch off to quarterback sneak, get 3 yards, reset for 4.
Sideline pass, and it's hauled in by Blackshear. He'll pick up about 6 to about the 32. It'll be 2nd down. They need a score to kick in the mercy roll.
Same exact pass play as 4 or 5 plays ago. 2 out left, 1 goes up, then sets up for the block. The inside receiver goes to the outside and takes the pass.
And this time it's Hall, and he's got the first down and then some. Hall driven down around the 20 of New Brighton.
Running hard. And you like to see that anytime. You especially like to see that when the scoreboard says, the game's probably out of hand. That's when you find out how much somebody wants it, especially if you're in New Brighton right now. You can make a heck of an impression by continuing to play hard in spite of the situation. Coaches notice that.
Brickner looks. Brickner now flushed out of the pocket. He'll take off. He's at the 15, and he'll be knocked out of bounds right around there. They'll say the 16-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 5. Inside of 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Most of the games are either at final or very late. On WNBA, Aliquippa leading Montour 27-0. That game should be winding down shortly for Robinson. Hall with the carry. Hall's got a first down, then some. Still driving. And he is in for the touchdown. 16 yards. And the mercy rule will go in effect at the kickoff.
The last 8 yards were absolute pure effort. He had people hanging all over him. He got popped a couple times going through the line. When he got to the second line of defense, he took a couple shots, bounced off, and spun off. And about the last 7 yards, he carried 3 or 4 gold helmets in with him. He absolutely was not going to beat the line.
Hall for 16 to finish off a 65-yard drive.
And they're not going to kick.
Beaver Falls beat New Brighton on this very field in the playoffs 40-0. They're going for 40 here, and they get it.
Untouched.
Bricks Raw with the run, and it's 40-0. Beaver Falls will be back in a minute on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live Sports.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. This is Stefan Sasek from Tri-State Waters. I'm the guy that is out and about delivering that Tyler Mountain 100% natural spring water. I'm everywhere from New Brighton to Old Economy. Tri-State Waters delivers, and I'm the one driving the truck. From Beaver to Raccoon Township, I'm the waterman they love and the waterman that delivers. We even go to Poland, well, Ohio that is. If you need home or office delivery, call today and ask for Stefan, 724-774-4644.
Rumble takes the kickoff, gets it out to the 25. The clock now will run. Unless under situations such as a...
You just explained this to me because I go, explain this to me about change of possession and injuries.
Injuries,
Are those the one? Okay.
Timeout.
Right, active timeout would stop it. But
the obvious one that you know when the clock runs is an incomplete pass.
Incomplete pass, or a guy runs out of bounds and doesn't stop. I got you.
Pass over the middle. It's caught.
Good pass.
And that's going to be a first down for New Brighton. Trayvon Phillips with the reception. Gets about 11 to the 37.
Giving your quarterback an opportunity to succeed. That was not a long play to set up. That was a quick drop back, hit over the middle. Don't give the Beaver Falls defensive line time to tee off because they did a lot of that in the first half.
Now, once the mercy roll kicks in, which it has, It does not matter. If New Brighton gets a touchdown, it stays on.
Fumble.
And there's a loose ball, and falling on top of it is Kyler Rumbold, but it's going to be a huge loss back to the 26. That's going to be a loss of about 12.
Gets a touchdown.
Mishandled snap, and
he
does
Fumble,
what you're supposed to do, secure the ball. He falls on it.
And falling on
Line
top.
up and go again. So now we're looking at what? Second and 21, excuse me.
New Brighton would at least like to get a score. Next Friday, New Brighton returns home to play Mohawk. Running out of the pocket is Taylor. He's going to be dropped at the 31-yard line. Beaver Falls, boy, a showdown at Neshannock. If Neshannock wins an Industry tomorrow, that'll be a huge game. Next Friday night near Newcastle.
I don't think Beaver Falls can make the mental mistakes next week that I've seen them make tonight. But if their defense gets that much penetration again, New Brighton called a pass play. They tried to give the quarterback enough time. He gets chased out almost immediately.
That Riverside game against Mohawk, try to get a score on that one. I know Matt's working on it. This time being harassed, and the pass is caught. Nice catch. And finally driven out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That's the play of the game for New Brighton. Michael Vion with the reception.
And it looks like he might be hurt a little bit. I don't know if it's a cramp or an ankle, but he is laying down. That you put the ball up and give your receiver a chance to get it. The receiver came back, targeted, and high-pointed the ball before the defender. I just saw him grab the knee.
There is a marker, however.
And there's a marker.
And this is going to go for naught.
Oh, I'm guessing where it is, holding in the backfield would be my guess, because he was under pressure. The quarterback was absolutely under pressure to get rid of it. It was actually underthrown. That's what allowed the receiver to target it and come back before the defensive back could see it. It's what led to the. You know what? They're treating it like another cramp. They're not treating it like a knee injury. So that's not a great thing, but that's way better than it could be. It looks like they're stretching him out on the sidelines.
So we have an official's time. We'll take a minute break. Beaver Falls 40, New Brighton nothing on WBVP and 99.3 FM.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Why choose the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George? Attorney Larry Kelly explains.
First of all, we've been AV rated by Martindale Hobble. It's the highest rating you can get for legal ability and ethics, and that comes from our peers. We have board-certified civil trial specialist, which is like another bar exam. Would you go to a doctor who is not board-certified? Probably not. I've always said, and I tell my daughters, I have 3 daughters who are attorneys. Those in the profession know. The lawyers of LGKG have the respect of our peers, and that's all I ever cared about.
For your free initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Excuse me, yes.
That rock, dude. Open the next segment.
And they're still working on the injured New Brighton player. Now they're finally getting him up, and that's Vion.
At first, I thought they were working on the right knee, but then I saw the pick the leg up, grab the toe cramp move. And it didn't look like he took a shot or a twist when he came down. As someone who has been in less than physical condition and gotten lots of cramps, that is the walk of a calf cramp. When that toe's pointed up, he's making his way back across to the other sideline, but walking. I would bet you my last dollar he is trying to deal with cramps in the lower right leg. And there is nothing that you can do until they go away. He made a great play coming back for the underthrown pass, but Bob, like you said, a flag in the backfield, all for naught. Now New Brighton's going to have the ball at their 16 rather than in the Beaver Falls side of the field.
Matt Durzik with another final. Beaver goes to 1-0. in the conference in 3A, 25-7 win at South Park. Riverside and Mohawk seems to be the game that, oh boy, no sooner than I say it, Matt gives me a score. 4 minutes to go. 28-26 Mohawk.
There's your barn burner right there.
Riverside and Freedom next Friday night on WBVP from North Swickley. Ball almost caught, but then a good defensive play by the Fighting Tigers in Cash Edwards.
Kyla Rumbold was the intended receiver. The ball fluttered a little bit, and that gave the defense time to come back and knock the ball away. Basically, it was a jump ball that neither got, but now looking at 4th and 30.
and Freedom next Friday
Beaver Falls
night
will get the ball back,
on
very likely
WBVP
on the new Brighton
from
side of the
North
field.
Swickley.
Once the gunner for the right gets down, that's embarrassing. When everybody's on the field and you look up and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be out there. I've lived it many times.
And New Brighton will kick on 4th and 30.
Fair catch.
Fair catch. Called by Anderson at the 40-yard line.
That was a make-up fair catch. Remember a couple punts ago I said if he steps forward 2 steps, calls the fair catch, he saves about 10 yards. I got an idea that his coach told him the same thing. That time he took the 3 steps up, take the ball right here. We'll take it on the New Brighton side. Line up at the 40.
Well, in the first week of conference action, there have been some games of domination. The only game that appears to be headed for a 1-possession difference is the game at Mohawk against Riverside, 28-26 Warriors with 4 minutes to go. Now Beaver Falls from the 39, and a big run inside the 30-yard line. Beaver Falls starting to get a look at some of their second-line players.
This game's in hand. You've got an opportunity. Just like you've got an opportunity for New Brighton, coaches are going to watch film specifically at this point in the game and see what guys made a point to not be slowing down. Young guys get a chance to showcase their skills if you're on the Beaver Falls side.
We'll try to get you a final from Montour. Aliquippa well on its way to a win. Passing in the end zone, it's overthrown. They try to get the football to Demetrius Taylor. Clock running, 2:48 to go in the third period on a mercy rule clock. Beaver Falls with a 40-0 lead. Of course, the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show will begin after the post-game here where we announce our CCBC players of the game. One player from each team so honored. This time up the gut. Good gain down to the 20. And that is the Italian Buford with the call.
And you've got a New Brighton player, looks like a defensive lineman down holding his knee. That will stop the clock. I suspect what you're going to see the rest of the game is what we're seeing. You're going to see Buford come in as running back. You're going to see guys get opportunities that you were probably not going to see them in the first quarter. But if you're New Brighton, this is when the coaches go back and look at the tape and they see who's slowing down and who's not slowing down. This is where you can make an impression. It's easy to be excited if you're up 40-0. It's not nearly as easy to be motivated when you're down 40-0, and that is exactly what coaches look for, especially early in the season, double especially on young teams.
Aliquippa shuts out Montour on WNBA 33-0. West Allegheny all over Newcastle 52-14. Should be a great one next Friday night at Freedom, even though the Bulldogs won't be in that game. undefeated West A against undefeated Aliquippa. What a mid-season showdown that'll be, Mr. Eddie Crow.
That's going to be one of those games that are playoff worthy, and you're getting it in, week 4? Or week 3 plus the 0 game or whatever that weirdness is about. That's kind of the opposite of what we've seen with today. You're seeing teams figure out what they are, often at the expense of other teams. You know what that game is.
As they continue to work on the injured New Brighton player, we'll take a minute timeout. Just over 2 minutes to go in the third. Beaver Falls 40, New Brighton nothing on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live.
There's no place like Community College of Beaver County. Confidence happens here. Connection happens here. Opportunity happens here. Your best you happens here. Your future happens here. Home is here. At CCBC, you're right where you need to be to find real learning for real life. And there's still time to join us. Enroll now through October 14th for fall mini-mesters. Same classes, less time. Visit ccbc.edu/fall. You belong here.
Braden beats the injured player, and he goes off the field under his own power. That's good news. I formation for Beaver Falls. And the give, and they get about 2.
Could have blown that up in the backfield. Buford broke another tackle and got 2 or 3 more yards out of that. Clock continues to run.
Minute 46 left in the third quarter. Only touchdown in this third frame. 16-yard run by Dre Hall. And that kicked in the mercy roll. Probably have about close to an hour to talk to you. Give the scores on the Falcones Boone Township Ford wrap-up. And this time it is Buford again, gets it inside the 10, and that'll be a 1st and goal situation for the Fighting Tigers.
Spotted at the 8. I got a feeling until something bad goes, Buford's going to be the guy to get the ball handed off. Every time he touches it, it's 3 to 5, and half of those he's breaking tackles or dragging people.
Want to thank Jim Carbone, athletic director, and the fine folks here again at Beaver Falls, always making us feel at home.
No, it's a keeper.
And this time, the new quarterback going in from 8 yards out is Kenny Jewell III.
Coaches love that. Obviously they score a touchdown, but when you're getting players in that may not see a lot of action and they have success, that's how you're comfortable later in the season when somebody does get hurt or there is a problem with somebody. You have so much more confidence putting in the next player up if the next player up has seen action and had success.
Jewell III, only a freshman, and he looked good on that run for 8 yards. To up the lead to 46-0. And this time the handoff and an easy 2-point run. And that's Buford. Seems like whoever does the most work gets the 2-point try. This time it was Buford's turn.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, why not?
It's like when you see a guy run 85 yards and get tackled at the 2. Assuming that he doesn't have to go off and get oxygen. If he's in the backfield, you expect, that's the guy. He got you down there. He's going to get it. Buford was the horse of all of the run game. He deserved to get that shot. And you get a freshman quarterback that maybe doesn't see a lot of action, get a touchdown. Now, this is all biscuits and gravy at this point. And if you're New Brighton, you're looking to keep trying. Don't give up. Play every play like it's 0-0. Some people can do that. Some people that's difficult to get your head around, but that's what the coaches are going to watch. New Brighton coaches, the second half, when they watch the video of the second half, they're not looking at success or failure. They're looking for effort. Give me effort, I can build success.
Half a minute left in the third quarter. Beaver Falls 48, New Brighton nothing. From the 20.
Not down
and
yet.
Getting loose while a marker comes in. And, wow, I'll tell you.
He got
a very convincing tackle made by Beaver Falls by Connor Hauser.
He got slung. It was a great run, and he made a whole lot out of very little. He probably ran 60 yards to gain the 15 or 20 on the actual run back.
Dorner return, holding, number 2, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 1st and 10.
That's depressing to get slung across the field like that and not even get credit for the run. That's tough. You get called for the hold, you find your buddy and buy him a soda afterwards. I'm sorry.
And that'll put the ball
for 8 yards.
The 24.
And New Brighton showing its signs of inexperience. And this time on the run, they get about 8 yards there.
Good open field tackle.
That'll do it for 3 quarters from Reeves, the Little Brown Jug. It won't be going anywhere. It'll stay in the possession of the Fighting Tigers. Beaver Falls 48, New Brighton nothing. The final 12 minutes coming up on 1230 WBVP. 99.3 FM presented by St. Barnabas and Trib Live Sport.
Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Frye Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Frye Transportation fleet. Frye Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Frye Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Frye Transportation.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson.
Buzzing on the phone.
Okay, everybody's hearing our broadcast from our coverage area because it's all over on WMBA. Aliquippa Cruises 33-0 over Montour. Mike Azadian and Bruce Frye on the call. And now we got Beaver Falls and New Brighton and a sack. Nice play by Buford as New Brighton has the ball. Good news coming from Mohawk. Riverside with a late touchdown, and they beat Mohawk 32-28.
How about that?
That makes our game next Friday interesting. Freedom and Riverside opening with wins in the MAC, and we'll have that one on WBVP and 99.3. 6:30 pregame. New Brighton football at their own 24. And looks like a new quarterback in for the Lions.
Pitch to the right. Maybe 3 yards on that, but Beaver Falls did a job stringing it out.
It was Williams on the Wildcat, and he, as you say, he gets 3. Taylor still in at QB. 10:40 to go. And as soon as our Electric Garage door sales postgame concludes, Bruce and Matt will take your phone calls till 11, and they'll feed the scores in between conversation.
I think you were one play too quick on the quarterback out. Now it's out. We've got a punt.
And they're going to kick it, and it goes out of bounds at the 40.
Oh. Beaver Falls 60 yards away. At this point, if you're Beaver Falls, why would you not, and I'm asking your opinion about this, you know this far more than me, why would you not put everybody in that you could ever expect to need something from this season?
Well, I'm sure that they have sprinkled in a few players. I mean, Jaron Brickner is no longer behind center.
Buford was the running back for that entire last drive.
Yeah, Buford is a backup running back. But with Beaver Falls, they have talent at the skill positions, Eddie. It's really hard to tell who's a starter and who's a backup.
Well, except for the number, I had no idea that quarterback for Beaver Falls, that's a freshman quarterback. You don't see anything drop off. No, I got it wrong. I'm reading wrong. It's a backup, a quarterback.
Yeah, we did see Kenny Jewell III.
Yeah.
And he was the one who got their last touchdown. 9:19 to go. We have a timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. 48-0 Beaver Falls leading New Brighton on WBVP and 99.3.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
That's it. Okay, we're back here at Reeves. No gain on the play. Well, maybe a 1. 9 minutes to go.
That is a freshman quarterback. I was right, then I talked myself out of it. I'm going back with right. I'm why they shouldn't have one of those challenge flags. I throw a challenge flag every 30 seconds.
Kenny Jewell III. Good size for a freshman.
Yeah, and he's going to fill out not a lot of bulk yet, but tall enough to build some bulk. And if you're a freshman, you're going to build bulk through the 4 years. Pitch
Actually,
left.
I was looking at Brichter's dimensions. Jewell listed in the program 5'10", 145. He'll grow.
There's room to build on that. That was Deshaun Richardson with the pitch.
And another final win. Quaker Valley 40, St. LaSalle 22. That's the Quakers' first win of the season. And
that penalty is declined. Result of the play.
I believe everything's a final except the 2 7:30 games. This one and the one at Freedom against Elwood. Cornell and Avella haven't been able to get a score on that one, but I'm sure they played and we'll have it at some point.
I like your optimism. There had to be a game.
And this time the run, and it's a first down at the 49.
I think he may get spotted.
And that was Jewell, the quarterback, on the run.
May get spotted a yard or two short.
Fourth and 3 for Beaver Falls. Nick Nardone coming in with a record of 39-20, so he'll double his win total over his losses in a 6th year after tonight.
Bad snap, one hop, and the freshman quarterback's still going to get the first down.
Or very close. Yeah, it looks like he got it inside the 49. And it's a final at Freedom. A lot of games going to be at Freedom this year. Not only their home games, but 3 Aliquippa games, including the one next week, Aliquippa and West Allegheny. Final score, Freedom 28, Elwood City nothing. So Freedom and Riverside start off 1-0, and we'll have those teams next Friday night here on 1230 and 99.3.
I believe that got backed up on a penalty because it's still showing 4th and 10, but Beaver Falls still has it still going just from their 47 now. So that came back.
Well, they're going to go for it. Jules' pass, and is broken up. Almost picked off. Nice play defensively by the Lions.
That could have
and
been
that was Brian Taylor on the coverage.
Well, they're going to go for it. Jules
So New Brighton will start from the Beaver Falls 43.
Almost.
I said this earlier, and it's more true as time goes on. If you're on New Brighton, this is when you demonstrate you still are going to go 100%. It's easy to go 100% if you're getting a chance to play and you're up 48-0. It's much tougher if you're on the other side. This is what coaches will look for in the film.
This time on the run.
Good run, fumble.
Look out, loose ball at the 33, 45-40, and they drag him down from the jersey. That was
Brian Taylor Jr. saving the touchdown with the jersey snag tackle after the fumble and return.
Deshaun Richardson on the recovery and the return to the 30 of New Brighton.
I saw the ball come out right as I was about to say, that's a good run for New Brighton. That's 10 or 12 yards, get some yardage, get some momentum, keep the ball moving forward. Then the ball comes out, one hop into the hands of the Beaver Falls going the other way. And Taylor did save a touchdown with that. It wasn't a horse collar tackle. It was a drag you down by your jersey tackle.
So Jewel in the gun, 4:43 to go in the game.
Another low snap worked out.
And driving and down to about the 21-yard line. Edwards with the call. Cash Edwards. So Beaver Falls will improve to 3-1 and go 1-0 in the MAC. New Brighton will dip to 0-4 and 0-1 in the conference.
And driving.
Well, I don't know what will happen next Friday, but New Brighton might be getting Mohawk on a good note. Mohawk allowed their touchdown or their late lead to slip away to Riverside, and the Panthers won. New Brighton will host Mohawk next Friday night. Beaver Falls has a toughie at Neshannock.
With what you know about Neshannock, did Beaver Falls play well enough tonight to beat them, or were there too many little silly
I think
mistakes?
It's going to go down to the wire. I mean, Neshannock's a good club, and they're going to be at Western Beaver tomorrow. That'll be a good one in industry. This time in the gun, ball's at the 17. And a marker is on the field. Jewel won the keeper, and this one should be coming back. And
62 offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. They played it down.
Matt Dursick delivers the last score we needed, and an easy one for Cornell, 48-0 over Avella. From the Frye Transportation Update Desk, and that's a hold against Beaver Falls. That'll move it back to the 27, 3 minutes to go in the game.
That was a good run. You're seeing things from a freshman quarterback that you kind of bank. Like, he doesn't need to be our starting quarterback, but you're seeing things that if he has to be, you're comfortable with a bigger playbook. Again, number 12.
Joel getting to the edge. Joel at the 20, 15, down at about the 10-yard line. Very close to a first down, might be a yard and a half short.
I started to say and stayed in bounds to keep the clock rolling, but that's no longer relevant. That was a good run to the right. He saw he was going to get cut off and cut it back inside, and it's spotted at the 10. Bob, you were right. They're about a yard and a half short.
And it's official. We'll have one game tonight in our coverage area separated by one possession. And that was the Riverside 32-28 win over Mohawk.
Good job there for New Brighton. They actually penetrated the backfield and stopped that before they could build up. That was a loss.
And I'm going to go out on a limb.
Mm-hmm.
One of our callers on the Phil Coney's Moon Township 4 wrap-up show is going to be Heidi from Beaver Falls.
Okay.
I know she's going to call in.
I'm guessing she'll be happy calling.
Oh, yes, I would think so.
So happy Heidi tonight. Okay. Now, if she doesn't call, are you prepared to take the abuse?
Yeah,
okay.
She might be listening right now. She might say, hey, Bob, I'm going to be stubborn and not call.
I'm thinking, Heidi, if you're listening, I'll give you $3 not to call. And the reason it's $3, I got 3 ones in my pocket, and it's $3 to spend to be able to hassle Bob. That's money well spent.
Oh, you better believe it.
Heidi, I'll go 5. Let me run to my truck. I got some change in the middle console. I got at least 8 quarters there.
Beaver Falls at the 10, 4th down and 2. With 1:08 to go. And the clock is winding.
I think Beaver Falls is going to do all they can do to end this without anything else because, well, no, they have to snap. There's 55 seconds left. Change of possession stops even the mercy clock, right? Maybe they're going to run it. They're going to run
Joel around the left end. Joel fights. He's got the first down. The clock should stop to move the sticks. Well, no, they'll let it run. A half a minute to go. We'll see if Beaver Falls tries to get off another play.
I see a lot of orange jerseys working their way to the sidelines.
And that is going to do it. So Beaver Falls showing good sportsmanship down at the 3. They will not run another play. And that will be your final score in the battle for the jug. And it was all Beaver Falls tonight. The final score from Reeves Stadium. Beaver Falls 48, New Brighton nothing. Our electric garage door sales postgame show coming up next on 1230 WBVP, 99.3 FM, also 95.7 FM, WNBA. Everybody's tuning us in now, and we'll be back with our electric garage door sales postgame on Beaver County Radio and Trib Live Sports.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click the
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we sell. This is Renee from the Laughlin Insurance Agency. Sure, affordable insurance is the means that allows us to do it, but what we really provide at the Laughlin Insurance Agency is peace of mind. It's true, worrying about risk can take the fun and joy out of almost everything. We see every day how having peace of mind can lead to more enjoyment, which, last time we checked, is a fairly priceless commodity. Make life more enjoyable. Call us at 724-774-1230.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Town.
Thanks for tuning in to high school football here on Beaver County Radio, now entering our 75th year in broadcasting high school games. 2022 high school football coverage is being brought to you in part by Friendly Federal Credit Union, the Laughlin Insurance Agency, Moon Township Auto, Electric Garage Doors, Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, the Community College of Beaver County, Keystone Wellness Program, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Beaver County Career and Technical Institute, Tri-State Neuropathy, Drug-Free Communities, and Beaver County Radio.
That's great.
And it's time for our Electric Garage Door Sales post-game show. Well, the end zone was open, and Beaver Falls was able to get in on 6 occasions.
Often.
And they got 2-point conversions on every touchdown. It started on a 1-yard run by Bricks Raw, 9:20 left in the first quarter. That was on a turnover, and then Hall runs it in to make it 8-0. Brichter, 26-yard run on the quarterback keep, 15 seconds into the second quarter. Hall runs it in at 16-0. And then the best play that we've seen this year anyway, Isaiah Ashbacher takes a little swing pass of 7 yards. He goes 87 yards for the touchdown with 5:12 to go in the half. And then Ashbacher ran it in for 2 to make it 24-0. Brichter scores from the 1 with 3 minutes to go in the half. And then Anderson ran it in for the 2 to make it 32-0 at halftime. Then Hall scores on a 16-yard run with 8:51 to go in the third quarter. Then Hall runs it in for the deuce to make it 40-0. And then the backup quarterback, the freshman, Kenny Jewell III, gets the final touchdown for Beaver Falls on an 8-yard run. And that came with 31 seconds left in the third. There was no scoring in the fourth. Buford ran it in for the 2. No scoring thereafter. 48-0. Eddie, Beaver Falls, a convincing win.
It's a convincing win, and it's a great situation for their coaches, because coaches, they like to win, but they're more comfortable when they have something to grouse about. They like teaching, and it's tougher to get a guy's attention to pay attention when you win 48-0. But Beaver Falls made silly mistakes. You had 3 or 4 illegal shifts. You had an unsportsmanlike. There's plenty of things to break down, even in the 48-0 win, to break down to say, look, we didn't do this as well as we should. There were multiple issues with shotgun snaps, especially about the last quarter and a half. There were 3 or 4 shotgun snaps rolling back there. Coaches love that. You win, that's good. We got stuff to complain about to get better. That's good.
All right, Eddie, thank you. We will be back after this break for Electric Garage Door Sales. We'll announce our CCBC players of the game, go down the finals. Everything's in the books, and then we'll turn it over to Matt Durzick and Bruce Frye for the Falcones Ford wrap-up show. We'll take our final timeout. Beaver Falls wins at 48-0. You heard it on WBVP, WMBA.
Ford. Neighbors, friends, and co-workers will notice a new winning style reflected in the car, truck, or SUV you just got from Falcones Moon Township, located on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris. Click and save at moonford.com and discover what the talk is all about. Falcones Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
And we return our final segment of the Electric Garage Door Sales postgame show. First of all, our Community College of Beaver County players of the game, and with the announcements, Eddie Crow.
Oh, you're going to dump it on me?
Yeah.
All right. For Beaver Falls, Jaron Brickner was very good, but Jaron Brickner could be the player of the game 2 out of every 3 games he
Right.
played. I was absolutely blown away with that run. Isaiah Ashbacher was a man amongst boys, like you said. A 6 or 7 yard little dump out pass. 80 whatever yards later, he ran, was able to balance on the sideline and run over people and carry people, and that was the play of the game as far as one highlight. So for Beaver Falls, it would have to be Ashbacher. New Brighton, and we talked about this off the air, when you get beat like that, it's tough. But one of the things that you got to look for as a coach, who kept trying, who kept fighting. Brian Taylor, a quarterback, never stopped trying and never stopped making an effort, never stopped leading. So he would be my player for New Brighton.
All right, Brian Taylor Jr. of New Brighton, Isaiah Ashbacher of Beaver Falls are CCBC players of the game. They'll be invited to a future coach's corner. We do it on Wednesday night at 7:05 from our St. Barnabas studio on 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls. So Brian Taylor Jr. and Isaiah Ashbacher for New Brighton and Beaver Falls, respectively. Final scores from the Frye Transportation Update Desk. Great job all night long by Matt Durzik. And we also had a shutout on WNBA. Aliquippa stays unbeaten, 33-0 over Montour. Blackhawk over Ambridge, 31-14. Central Valley, 31 in a row, 58-13 over Short Tears Valley. West Allegheny, 52. Newcastle, 14. That sets up a showdown between 2 4-0 teams. West Allegheny and Aliquippa next Friday night on WNBA. Don't go to one of those locations. The game is at Freedom. And also, Beaver with the win, 25-7 over South Park. Avonworth cruises over Hopewell, 50-0. It was Quaker Valley, 40. St. LaSalle, 22. Best game of the night, without question. Late touchdown by Riverside. The Panthers beat Mohawk, 32-28. That sets up Riverside and Freedom, both 1-0 in the MAC. We'll have it next Friday night on 1230 and 99.3. Also, Freedom shuts out Elwood City 28-0. Southside puts up a goose egg all over Northgate 49-0. Our Lady the Sacred Heart 56, Carleton 0. Cornell 48, Avella 0. And since I'm on a roll, Penn Hills 35, Moon 0. The Mets edge the Buccos 4-3. We got Geneva tomorrow at 12:30, Pitt at 5:30. That'll do it for us. We want to thank the Walshes, the dad with the camera, Keith, the son with all the controls, and Curtis. Yes, you instant replay, slow-mo. However you look at it, it's a dominating effort by Beaver Falls. They win it 48-0, and the game on WNBA with Mike and Bruce, 33-0. Aliquippa beats Montour. Coming up next, the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show. Bruce Frye and Matt Dursick, scores and conversation till 11 here on Beaver County Radio. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WNBA, 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, and Trib Live Sports. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for tuning into coverage of 2022 high school football on Beaver County Radio and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. After tonight's game, head to beavercountyradio.com for all the latest scores from across the Beaver Valley. And make sure you keep your dial set to the goal line for action all season long on 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.